Hey everyone, it's Dia here, and I've got a very special update to share with you all. Heading into Year 6, the ALGS team have been working hard behind the scenes to make the viewing experience better than ever. Let me show you around the newest addition to the ALGS website, the ALGS Multiview. After signing in with your EA account, you'll be able to watch up to 12 streams at once during every single ALGS event. Each team has its own dedicated observer and comms that you can listen to. Viewers will even be able to vote for which player's POV they want to watch. You can customize your layout, add custom Twitch streams, and even draw over them with built-in tools. Team and individual stats will be easily accessible in the sidebar, updating in real time. And just like on Twitch, you can clip your favorite moments as they happen. And yes, you are still eligible for Twitch drops. Now keep in mind that the ALGS Multiview tool is still in beta, so as we continue improving the experience, we want your feedback. Please share it using the button that you'll find in the bottom right of your screen. Now this tool is free to use, and it'll be available for every single ALGS event. So log on, find your favorite POVs, and tune in for the best viewing experience that ALGS has to offer.
Here we go. You know what time it is. It's the ALGS Top 5 Plays of the Week. I'm Tank. Let's dive into them. Kicking us off at number 5, we've got Kendall with an alternator.
Yep, 2 strings.
Everyone loves a good alternator clip. There's
Nice.
one.
One behind that bin.
Great call-outs from the teammate. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Pick up another one.
Yeah, I can't approach.
Kendall, not done yet. Still with the alternator. Hello! What are you guys all doing in there? Crammed in there like a bunch of sardines. And Kendall, 1 HP, doesn't matter. Tap, tap, pick it up, triple kill.
I have 100 damage.
At number 4, we've got KO Ticks. Putting the crypto to work. R99 and a Hemlock. Here he goes. 1v3. Quick flip to the Hemlock. Pick up the first guy. Clean shots for number 2. Oh, it's some trouble. Pulls back. Quick reload with the R99 style on him. Triple. Team wipe. At number 3, heating it up, we've got Jordan looking like Michael Jordan on the battlefield. Team's going to go all the way down. It's just going to be him. 1v3. Kramer connects. R99. Clean shots. One left. Here's some footsteps behind. Needs to get the reload off. Yes.
You are better.
You got that right. At number 2, about to style on him. Satoru. Do a kickflip. Oh, wait, hold on. We need to see that again. Run that back. Satoru off the top turnbuckle. What a shot. All right, number 1 things you don't want to hear from your teammates.
Help, 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 help. I missed every bullet.
Yeah, he did. Now the whole team's down in Matrix. He's got to be the one like Neo to lock this in for the squad. Wingman's coming out. Hold up. Wait a minute. Time to drop the hammer. Oh, he does. 150 knock. Oh, a second one. Unbelievable shots coming out of the Wingman. Last man standing. 1v1. He got the crack. Oh, he's trying to flee the scene, but Matrix, he's going to hunt him down like a sentinel. Knock, knock. Kicks open the door. Yes, lock it in, Dub City. He booted that door open like the Kool-Aid man. That'll wrap up your top 5. Make sure you're submitting your clips to the ALGS website under the community tab so you can be featured in a top plays. If you like my stuff and you want to see more of my content, at The Tank TV at all socials. We'll be back next week with another one.
This is everything you missed in the 4th week of Pro League. First up, in EMEA, we saw a record-breaking performance. Zuni from Citadel Gaming set 4 ALGS records in a single game. Most kills, highest damage, biggest damage differential, and most knocks. Unsurprisingly, they went on to take first with 73 points. It was also a much-needed result for the Vicious, who came in second. They're gonna need a few more days like this if they want to lock in a spot at the Split 1 playoffs. Over in Americas, Zach Mazer led S2 to a huge win. He wasn't just calling shots as the IGL, he also topped the kill leader leaderboard with 16 kills. With 2 match wins for the team, S2 locked in first place on matchday 5, finishing with 67 points. JD Gaming also had a strong showing, finishing second and continuing their climb up the overall standings. Over in APAC South, RRQ had a seriously dominant performance. They finished top 5 in 5 out of 6 games. Pricey had a standout day for himself, racking up 22 kills for the squad. This consistency carried them to the top with an 88-point finish. Right behind them was SAUL Esports in second, keeping the pressure on at the top of the region. In APAC North, it was a big showing from fan favorite Zeta Division. Fragger Mike popped off, dropping 22 kills for his team. Led by the veteran Yuka F, they picked up 2 game wins and cruised to a comfortable first place finish with 76 points. Unlimit and E36 also had solid days, rounding out the top 3 as the battle for the top spot continues. And just like that, you're all caught up. Check out the overall standings at algs.ea.com to see how your favorite teams are doing. ALGS Split 1 Pro League will be back this weekend, so make sure to catch all the action live.
In this game, victory is a choice. You lose. You rebuild. You evolve. Or you're left in the dust. No, we are not done yet. This is where we earn our scars.
I bloody love this egg.
Every loss takes a piece of you. Until only the strongest parts remain. Keep moving.
For more, let's settle it. Look at the life that we relish, I'm telling it. I'm the star of the show and the regiment. Can't stop me, bro, ain't no pedaling. Ain't no riding the wave. Staring right in your face, you know where I'm getting it. This ain't back in the days. Get ready for more and more, ain't no meddling, no. Gotta know what my head is for sure. I had a show when I was young, I had my back on the ropes. Looking like I never had her on roll. In school of hard knocks, I get hard drops. Got drive even when the car stops. I don't watch it if they let me, ain't no get ready. When you stay ready, let's go.
Facing up, don't know where. Behind. On your side. Let's go, boys! Bro, I have almost dropped a 20 bomb!
Good shit.
A few moments later.
もうユーカイフが抑えています。上がらせない。15キル。いや伸びているデータディビジョン。首位争い大事な後半戦の初戦。
しかもドリルが刺されすぎて何もできないんですね。
これはちょっとリアライザー2位になるのを待つだけ。そんな展開ですが、さあ上から切る取り放題は。
You know, if we're starting out the day with a SpongeBob meme, it's gonna be a good day, okay? A historic performance by Zuni last weekend in Match Day 5, setting 4 individual records, which he then only got to hold on to for a week, because just a few hours ago, Mikey broke 2 of those records, 1 for damage dealt and 1 for the damage difference in a game, which means today has been amazing already, and I can't wait for that to continue. My name is Glitter Explosion. I will be your host for today, and we have Vicky, Kitty, and Genome joining us for all of the action. Vicky, how stoked are you?
I'm so stoked, Glitter. I mean, I don't know what these Pro League players are eating, but I need some of that into my own rank games. And I'm so glad to be joined with my favorite Aussie, Genome. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you, my favorite Floridian. And yeah, look, I would love to know what they're putting in their wheat bix or whatever else they've got for breakfast. It's amazing. I want to see some more records broken today. Frankly, the fact that we've had 2 broken in just a matter of a week is incredible. We need more of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how impressive it was the first time around, and then Apex said, hold on, hold my Red Bull, okay? Because we're ready to do this. I am so stoked. Let's start talking about it. We're going to kick things off today. We're keeping the fun rolling. We're doing another memory for this day in Apex. This was ALGS Online number 5 in EU, Vicky. This was 6 years ago.
Guys, this was like 2 months into me playing Apex and having the ALGS open at the same time. Y'all remember when you guys used to be able to jump on the zip lines more than twice, and then seeing all this action, not only with our players and how they've evolved, but how Apex Legends as a game has also evolved.
I mean, it's come a long way since then. Look at that, the gold armor, Glitter. Like, you can only get that in a mixtape now.
Well, no, I know, Genome. I was gonna say, not only are there so many relics that we're seeing in these clips of the game past, but we're also seeing people that have been with us since 2020 still in the competitive scene right now.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few names in here that you might recognize, right? Like, I'm looking at Virtus Pro, who have recently just rejoined the Apex team. We'll get to that later. But they had Noth and Pierre on this team, right? And unfortunately, Alliance beat them so badly that they actually said, you know what, I'm just going to tap out. I can't compete. I'm just going to coach you instead, right? Because obviously those guys were on the Alliance coaching roster for years, and Noth is still there. So pretty cool to see players like that. Even like the Scars team, like the Mandy, Taishin, RPR. That is a team that a lot of people have really fond memories of.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We've had some amazing people. I mean, Nasky, Strafe, and Dell squad. There are so many players that everyone at home, if you've been with us this whole time, will recognize. And you could see in 3rd place there is Alliance. And this is kind of the perfect segue into today. Obviously, we are here in EMEA. And what better way to kick off the day than starting about some of the top teams in the region, 2 of the teams that we've been talking about from the beginning. One of the major storylines, Alliance versus Aurora, Hackis versus Hiarka. Who is the better IGL? Which team is going to come out on top this time around? Let's start doing a little bit of a comparison here, Vicky, because these are 2 juggernauts of this region, and the Hackis versus Hiarka debate is probably going to be going on for quite some time.
I think it's a question of like just comparing their play styles, even the stats alone here and how consistent they've been in finding themselves in the top 10. Look how close they are in terms of Pro League points, but Aurora have had way more consistent values compared to Alliance. Now, guys, we've already reached beyond our halfway point starting today. So it comes to question, Alliance Hockey's being that one player that has been on Alliance since the dawn before time. How are we going to see that ramp up happen here?
I mean,
it's been such a long time, hasn't it? And if you look at the difference in how good they are at converting into those top 10, those top 5 positions there, it does start to tell a bit of a picture, doesn't it, Glitter? Because with 20,000 extra damage there on Aurora's side, you can see they are really getting a position early and then just holding it, right? And we know that Effect has made this transition to be this incredible sort of anchor player for the team, and still putting out as much damage as he was when he was just rolling around in a Trident doing drive-bys on everyone.
100%. Yeah, I think these are 2 teams that will always have a target on their backs when it comes to this region, just because of the history, their legacy in the ALGS. But if we're talking about teams that are at the top of the region, we also need to talk about Pot. However, Pot no more, Vicky, because like Genome alluded to earlier, VP is back. Pot has been picked up by Virtus Pro. This is huge.
Yeah, this is great. Welcome back, VP. It's nice to see your lovely faces again as you guys enter right back into the ALGS seat that we've been missing here. And now we get to see Taskmaster, Ozis, and Presses pop off again. We were talking about, in the group, Taskmaster and, the legacy that he's had back in the day with Firebeavers,
Yeah, I mean, that was where you probably know his name from the best, right? A very long time dominating on that roster, at least in the online portion, and certainly in the early days, where they actually managed to get a second in the 2021 championship. Of course, we call it a championship, but it was online. It was only one region. Just had a really big price tag, attached to it. But then we move forward to say like EWC in 2024, where they got a top 5. And I can remember players coming up to me and being like, do you think these guys are legit? Like, is this a one-off? And I don't think it was. Like, when I saw how they played, I was like, I don't think this is, a team that's just managed to get some RNG pulls. And I think we're going to see throughout the end of this split that they will have proven that they are a top team and someone we want to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, the fact that we're getting this level of consistency out of them so far in the split. I mean, first on match day 1, third match day 3, second match day 4, all of these top 3 overall finishes, not even just individual matches within the series. They are proving that they have what it takes to be in that conversation with the top dogs that we are constantly keeping our eyes on, which means that, they're a team that is pretty set for the rest of the split. They're looking pretty comfortable. But one thing we do have to bring up is this that you see on the bottom of your screen. Our roster transfer window will be opening up after today. Today we're gonna have a little bit of break, a mid-season break in Split 1. That break will open up the opportunity for Genome's favorite part of the entire Apex competitive season, because this is so much better than what we used to get Genome, with week-to-week player changes, trying to do new rosters every single time. This is the only opportunity they have now.
Yeah, I mean, half of my preparation time was just taken up with an Excel spreadsheet with like, this player has moved to this team, and like, we're just trying to memorize it all, like, mixing up names on broadcast. It wasn't our fault. It was the players. I swear. But look, thank God for the ALGS admins, because I think the roster change rule set is just much better this year, right? You get one roster change in the middle of the split. It is forcing people to work out their problems instead of just throw them away like trash.
Yes. And we'll take a look at the standings while we're talking about this, because the real question is, Vicky, are we going to be seeing some of those teams either towards the bottom or even in the bubble? Are they going to be taking a risk and changing that roster up in an attempt to try to get themselves in a better spot by the end of the split, or not? Because whatever they do change, they do have to keep through Split 1 playoffs.
Sometimes consistency is key, and if you have to go through couples therapy to figure out what your problems are, then you go through couples therapy before mom and dad start fighting again. And we've seen what that means with a lot of these teams that kind of make these roster changes, and guess what? They do worse, right? Because then now you have to ramp up that momentum again, ramp up that synergy if you haven't played with said player again. And now we get to see where our teams stay right now, and if we are going to have any of these roster changes after today.
Yeah, there's definitely a very real chance that the performances of today, especially for some of our teams that need to have a big push for the last round robin, today might be that deciding factor in whether or not those rosters get changed. Today will be groups B and C facing off against each other, like we've been mentioning. Obviously, Alliance in here, Aurora in here, VP in here. So there are a lot of our top squads ready to battle it out. I think that this is going to be a very exciting day of action, especially if we keep in mind that the last time these two groups faced off, it was Alliance who came out on top, and they were, when we did that comparison, just the teeniest bit behind Aurora, Genome. So they're going to be fighting to get a few more spots up that leaderboard.
Yeah, I think that graphic at the start set it up really well, and now just got to wait and see which one of the two teams plays better on the day. And it feels like Alliance has had that ramp up, right? You were just talking about how if you make a roster change, it can take a little while to find your footing, and I think Alliance has gotten there, but they did struggle with that at the start. So now the question is, are they still the top dogs? And that hasn't even been a question for like 3 or 4 splits.
100%. 100%. And if everybody at home, while you're preparing to watch all of our matches here today, if you want to watch multiple POVs, maybe up to 12, head on over to algs.ea.com and set up your multi-view multi-view. That way you can watch the ALGS the exact way that you want to, whether it's that map feed, listening to some of your favorite players' comms, your favorite teams. It's the perfect way to enjoy today's match day experience. So make sure you head on over there, set up your multi-view, and get everything ready to go. That way you won't miss a single second of any of the action that we have going on all day today. And if APAC was any indication, it's going to be a very exciting day of matches. I can't wait to see what EMEA is going to be bringing to the table. And match number 1 is about ready to get underway. So, Vicky, Gino, let's get this game going.
All right, thank you so much, Glitter, Gino. We are starting off the day on Storm Point for our first 3 games before we make our transition over to E District. And I love how you pointed out how Alliance need to ramp up here. And I feel like when we did see Alliance in this group specifically, they literally took not only first place, it was a different map rotation. You know, we did start on E District. So if you do find yourself finding, more of those points on Storm Point where a lot of these teams feel way more at home and comfortable, this is where you want to get your head start.
It's a good place to do it. Aurora, they're going to be trying to do that from Cenote Caves down the bottom, and Alliance, as per usual. Well, actually, not quite. They've got North Pad. As you can see, they are having to, share that with Havoc Legends over at Outpost. Obviously, Alliance for the longest time have tried to claim both of those POIs as their own, but it doesn't always work, Vicky. You can see here, Havoc with a better position in the draft at 23rd here, managed to snag it out and force Alliance to say, well, we're going to run at you.
And that's going to be an indicator for any surrounding teams to maybe go in for a 3P, depending on where these zones are pooling and looking at our different legend compositions. It's been great to watch how the Pro League has developed, not only between the different perks that we've had implemented here, the amps. I love how we talked about this on the broadcast just last week, Gino, how strong that power amp is and what it means depending on which of these legends get mostly picked going into this first game, which legend we're going to see banned first.
Yeah, I mean, it's most likely to be Crypto or Alta. We're seeing Crypto definitely has the lowest average ban rate of any legend, but often you will see them at equal percentages, and therefore it just kind of goes down to a coin flip because you have maybe 18 or 19, sometimes even 20 teams playing both of them together.
It's crazy. I mean, when you have the EMP, let me tell you, with all the gibbies that we've been seeing here, Caustics, Watson, it'd be a shame if an EMP could just destroy all of that hard work. As we take a look at this beautiful flyby of Storm Point, everybody, game number 1 is among us, Genome. And it's been nice to be able to welcome you back here. We're taking a trip from Japan now over to the Pro League, already halfway through the split, Genome. And it's been interesting to see how a lot of these storylines have developed, especially when it comes to how our POI draft system has also gone through.
I think that's a different game, Vicky. Are you have you got Steam open on the side there, just playing a little game while we game?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Heck no. You know what? You already know when it comes to seeing how a lot of this action is. It's hard to stay focused when so many teams are taking alter TPs. They're all coming in. They try to dive in to get a griefing pick just for them to take the insurance policy out and take their alter TP away. Again, for those of you guys just tuning in, it's our first 3 games on Storm Point before we make our transition into E District, where it's kind of like a flip of the script, because the last time I believe these teams played, Gino, in B versus C specifically, where Alliance did take that first place spot, we did make that transition into Olympus. So with E District and how E District played out last week, it's going to be interesting to see how that adaptation still proceeds with a lot of these teams still trying to find their stride.
Yeah, exactly. Does the map change being, does that change the ban order as well? It's very, very possible here. That said, it's probably going to be more towards the sort of middle or the end of the series if that happens, because Crypto is so strong at the moment, you're pretty much seeing it, at the start, regardless. It doesn't matter anything else. And as we were talking about, it just counters so many other things. You were talking about there, especially Gibby, Watson, who is a very strong controller character at the moment, but, you can just, you pop it like a bubble with one EMP, right? Boom, pylon's gone. Any of those fences, GG, absolutely out of here. Newcastle as well. Obviously, even just the electrification on his ultimate is actually so important. And once you take that away with the amount of hemlocks that are in the game right now, those breach charges are just going to come in and get rid of that wall before you can blink.
Let me tell you, I have a lot of words for the hemlock, and it's still saw nerf, and I cannot believe still how strong that weapon is. But also, like, you talk about crypto and being able to remotely get an Evo Harvester, get a res, that also all comes into play. But you know what I talked about on the broadcast also, like, 2 weeks ago now at this point, Genome? I do not like the name of Baby Comp. Baby Comp this, Baby Comp that. We are so tired of this, guys. I mean, we've seen Valkyrie taxi the big boys before. It wasn't Newcastle, it was Caustic, and Gibby was part of that composition. So guys, the most liked reply to this tweet will allow us to rename the Baby Comp. Please tweet at us, guys, at Play Apex Esports, at Vicky Kitty, at GG Genome, to let us know what you think this composition should be called, because I'm sick and tired of hearing the words Baby Comp, Genome.
Me too, Vicky. That said, some of the most liked tweets, I'm not sure if we're allowed to say them on this broadcast.
oh, wait, hold on. I don't even have it popped up yet. Yeah.
I like, one of my favorite things about the Baby Comp so far is that, like, everyone has a different explanation of why it's called the Baby Comp. Like, because I heard them talking about it on the broadcast the other week, and I was like, oh, that's actually different to why I thought it was called the Baby Comp, which was because it was like, once you're inside the walls and the bubbles and the mobile shields, it's like you can keep a baby alive in there. You know, like, you've got so much protection. You know, you could put them in a cradle and have a good night's sleep inside all of the protection that those legends provide.
I'm laughing just because of the suggestions that I'm seeing here. The Scan and Slam, Bubble Express, those two are probably my favorite. Two big boys and their mother. Shiv said Flying Meatball. Oh. That's crazy. I like that one. Bubble Express is probably one of my favorite one. That's actually really funny. And just, you know, being able to see how everything's been going down. I believe Bravo was actually able to talk a little bit about why this comp is the way it is.
Now, Mark, for everybody at home, if they don't know what the Baby Comp is, first let's explain to them what that means.
Well, firstly, there's a few names for it, but Baby Comp is probably the most broadcast friendly that we're going to go with, depending on who you ask. But essentially, what we're looking at is a composition which is based around Newcastle and Gibraltar working together. And Team Berg are one of the teams who have used it pretty exclusively in recent times. And I think one thing to highlight about it is...
With my AC being fixed and not feeling as hot out here, Genome, Onset, I blame him. I blame Onset. I was gonna, you know, kind of put him under the fire and thinking that it was Bravo's idea. Now it was Onset, and together they just rolled with it, and I was just not happy to hear that on the broadcast. But I get it. I understand. For those of you guys trying to implement something like that within your own respective ranked games, it is very nice when you have Mother Valkyrie here with her blue perk, who just gets it after one survey beacon scan, gets one Evo Harvester, and now you are a human UAV to scan through buildings to find your safe spot. And if you don't find a building, guess what? You have the first line of protection. You got the dump. And then you have Get Down, Mr. President, with the Newcastle wall slam. It's just been crazy chaos out here in the Pro League.
Yeah, and that really is only reinforced by what you were just talking about with the power amp as well, right? All of those things are on even shorter cooldowns. And not only that, if you get a knock, instantly refreshes your tactical. And I think that's something that actually goes unnoticed a little bit. People, you know, they pick up that amp and they don't even realize it has that ability.
It's been crazy, guys, but everybody, the lobby is moments away. The drop ships have taken off, and we are getting started with our first match. Thank you so much for sticking with us while all of our players get loaded into the lobby. We've been waiting for this, Genome, already. Day beyond our halfway point of our slip. It's just so crazy to see how fast time flies when you're having fun in the Pro League.
Oh, man. I'm having fun every time we're here, Vicky. I'm sure the players are too. Well, at least if they're doing well. So, I don't know, maybe that's only for half of them. All right. And why don't we have a little bit, why don't we listen to three men and hear what they've got to say about the ALGS? Are they having fun?
I think the biggest difference in between like Challenger circuits and the Pro League is how fast people react to the early game, the rotation. There is some great shooters in Change of Circuits, but the constant DPS you take in Pro League is not the same. Like, you have to be at your best all the time if you want to win fights. I love fighting, so I like playing Edge, even if it's probably like the most difficult one. Because you have to be like on point all the time, but it's like that you do crazy games with the 27 points, you know?
I love being able to hear these thoughts here too, just going crazy and just being able to find, you know, the kind of the theme of the aggression state of our Pro League. And as we get to take a look at our legend compositions, Alter, Ureng, and Crypto, he follows up, right? We get to see just how many of our teams are feeling very confident in terms of the different comps, especially when you move away from E-District and go onto Storm Point and still the strength that Alter has.
So Crypto falling just slightly behind. Don't worry, I'm sure if you're a non-crypto enjoyer, he will follow in the ban list pretty shortly. But honestly, just showing you how strong Alter is as well here. Even one of the other things I guess I've heard in terms of, I don't know, a criticism or just a strength of Alter right now in the Pro League, Vicky, is just how much he enables other types of play. Right? I mean, once you put that Void Nexus down, your other players can just go and do whatever they want. And that's why you've got teams like Node playing Alter and Crypto and Maggie, because the Maggie can just run around causing havoc, getting scouted out by that the Crypto drone as well. And then, you know, almost without any repercussions can come back to the Void Nexus if anything goes wrong.
Remember when you used to have two of those, by the way? And remember when she used to also be a support and get resets just as quickly? Anyways, still very strong legend, obviously, here. You could get a beacon skin, as you mentioned. You got the control when you're running the Caustic together. And as well as the Crypto being able to remotely get these scans is just as equally important. And with that scan, you see Stay Healthy up on the high ground, taking a look at a team who's trying to force their rotation. That's going to be the Vicious, who have to be careful because a team that is already rotated into one of my favorite spots in a zone like this, Genome, is VP. So VP could just equally look at this and try to pinch Vicious if Stay Healthy also continue to harass them.
Yeah, with the zone pulling all the way down here, that does seem like a very real possibility, Vicky. But over in Cascade, we've also got some teams running into each other. It's Pixel Lumina and Awakened up on the north side of the map, just trying to rotate into all the way past the rest, maybe even just grab a scan over here. And you can see that Lumina don't seem to want to take this fight. They've taken a little too much damage and they will retreat to the waterfall. Meanwhile, some teams down at the bottom of Devastated Coast. Obviously, when you get a zone like this, you will get some pulling to some teams, you know, setting up in Launchpad and also some setting up in Devastated Coast. And it's NOVO Esports who are really struggling down here. Hopefully, Fricks can use the drone here to maybe grab the banner and then even get the insta-res.
This is crazy, though. It's like 11 squads who have already found themselves in where they predict this final zone is going to be rotating to, and with so many control legends here on the table, and Nate's going to be able to get that knock with the nade, but it's chaos here as Nate wants to be able to extend on this, seeing Mask on the other side. Venom, though, is just waiting for him to swing. He's got the alternator in hand. He picks up the banner. He's forced to reload. Can he clutch? Oh, the alternator is just that good. I love this weapon. And Venom, even after having to reload, does not allow the recall back after the Ultra TP was used.
You see those purple sparkles there? That's, as you said, the other team is trying to pull them back, but they don't get it down in time. Of course, there are a couple of ways you can stop that. The amount of finishes used in the ALGS has gone up dramatically since Alter has been introduced into the meta, just because a finisher means that you cannot recall your teammate.
Can you imagine, too, if it wasn't the Caustic who was the last one alive and it was the Crypto, you'd just be able to get the res easily. So it's going to be hard with other teams noting that there's just a solo Caustic. Hopefully, Venom will be able to change things up just a little bit. But the action has not stopped. Even AJ getting a knock with another nade in the feed, while Bandits take their time because there's nobody on their rotate here unless they get waited on the edge of that next zone. So they're just going to be side questing going through Echo HQ while Venom is still trying to keep the dream alive. He gets another crack, but he's left one shot. He's already got the double tap on the alternator with all the damages he's been able to do. But these crypto drones have just been a pain on his side. It's detailing exactly where he is, him trying to reset. He's got the caustic barrows though. And you know how I feel about this legend in particular. But you have to be careful. If you can't pull off the shield bat, you can't really pull off the 1v3 because Nasky is hanging out as an iPad kid and he's feeding his teammates all the information.
And look, he's just as annoying as one sometimes as well, isn't he? There's a lot of teams in here that are not happy with how Mega is approaching the game this split. They've got an irreverence. They've got a disdain for the meta and for how other teams play Vicky, and they are just going for points a lot of the time. This means early fights. This means taking fights that other teams would consider to be trolling, but they don't care. They're getting kill points. They're racking them up, and they're having a good time doing it.
And looking at where the zone pool is, this is why I said I loved where VP was, because they have an Alter TP situated right there on the south side by where you could see those rocks, a crypto drone, and they're sending out a player just so that way they can scout ahead and maybe steal some KP here. It's been nonstop action while Fricks is taking a page out of the Black Venom book, except the Trident gets destroyed. Where do you go? Unfortunately, back to the lobby as NOVO Esports are the next to fall.
Couple of teams already out here, down to 16 in Ring 2. That's a lot of teams getting taken out this early. You can see, talking about the drive-bys, looks like Effect's still got that dog in him here. You can see already on the purple with an overflow. Things are getting a bit dicey here with a double ultimate trying to punish him. So he takes the Void Nexus and avoids all that damage. Well done.
The Band-Aid! The Band-Aid Alter TP. We won't be seeing that anymore, of course, since Alter is the most big legend, as we already mentioned. So Alter Band will be coming in, so you won't see her anymore throughout the course of this series. And now, moving forward, it's Alliance who, having to rotate all the way from the other side of the map, playing side quests themselves, already have those purple Evo shields after getting some scans and Evo harvesters and trying to take this fight initially. They don't have the Alter TP set up, so going in raw here too.
Yep, they do manage to grab one. There's a second member of Havoc Legends. I believe the other one is maybe full killed already. They've completely routed them, just looking at where the, having a look at the map and where the rest of them are. So no full kills yet, actually, because they've got no points. I don't know, maybe someone else got it. Either way, Havoc Legends are in all kinds of shambles, and Alliance have the north of the map all to themselves. Okay, there we go. Havoc is done. Alliance will get a little bit of loot here as Pixel Lumina, they're actually coming back up towards Stormcatcher, and they could be the next victims of Alliance. And
it could be because of the survey beacon, right? So they actually saw the fight happening on the outskirts of that zone. So hanging out by Stormcatcher, seeing what's happening here as Alliance also rotate in. Another team that, you know, obviously Hockey's getting that information with that crypto drone could come in clutch, but having to be careful on how you try to approach this. They could get gate capped as 3 chicks, and they were actually a duo. They were probably looking for the res, not knowing that they were going to get contested so deep outside of zone.
Don't think they were expecting Alliance to be this late or to find someone here this far out, but unfortunately they don't scout in advance enough, and that's another thorn in the side there of Pixel Lumina, who are now going to have to potentially go all the way around, maybe through mid-map.
Even if they wrap up, I mean, Alliance could still wait for them out of Evo Harvester. Aurora, though, the other side of the coin. Oi Reigns forced to pop a bat. Nice little 7-tick damage here with the nade. Give it overhealth as well. Just having to be careful. Nice wingman shots, being able to hit that 50. They have the Alter TP set up too, just in case Effect needs to go in for a reset. But with round 2 closing in behind their backs, look at this. It is NOVO who's wrapping up on the other side of the rocks while Feuda's giving them that information with the crypto drone. But having to be very careful in this choke specifically, you could easily get 3P, 4P by the teams that are looking at you from a mile away. ECLIPSE looking at Aurora still, while HM are just waiting here. Let's jump into a listening with Aurora to see how they plan their next move.
Drone. Are you guys ready? Everyone dead. Just on the open. All of them. I'm going for it.
We have the AI voice coming through, though. You already know that the comms are heard by the rest of Aurora. They know that they're in some trouble here, Genome. It's just about making their next move. Maybe HM are the saving graces that they need to distract Eclipse while Aurora try to wrap up on the other side of the choke.
Yeah, HM are also within the zone right now, and they could be another problem for Aurora, even if they do finish off the last member of Eclipse. And I think it was, there he is, they find Kishira. He was trying to pretend to do his best Fern impression over on the side there, but Aurora are not having it. Thankfully, HM don't actually push up. They could have easily held them in the zone a little bit longer there, forced them to use even more meds, put them in a very precarious position, but Aurora do manage to come through, and now this will be much easier with 30 seconds until the zone starts closing. That said, as it moves further and further towards Devastated Coast and Virtus Pro, who we can see are in a fantastic position out on the coast there, Aurora still have a long way to go.
Again, VP are just like primed and ready. We've seen the zone like that so many times, Gino, but it's Alliance right now, who know Awakened is right there alongside them. Colonel Node, who are all the way in the far north, who probably would have to take a roundabout rotation through Prowler's side towards VP. Maybe find some saving grace in getting into some extra cover if there's some rocks there, because it could be detrimental if you do not have a legend to help bunker down, because you have little to no cover in an end zone like that if you don't have the rocks on your side.
Can be so hard in those open positions. It means, yeah, there usually is less playable space. And of course, we don't have any of those, you know, Gibbies, Newcastles, Ramparts that can provide you with that permanent cover. So getting one of those spots early on is crucial.
Ooh, kinda though. Gonna be able to try to get the reset fully. Having to be careful. He's got the R9, he's got the purple light mag, but 72 bullets in the reserve, and they are in that next zone, so they can take a breather for right now. Not really worried about getting gate kept and being able to get the reset up on the high ground. The Hemlock's crazy. They start saying get ready, set, go, but having to be careful. You do not want to get kidnapped by the platform right there.
The platform will be good for a little while longer. Of course, you know, we saw Make EU great again, working their way into that position quite early on in the game. And here's Pixel Lumina, who have had a very rough go of it in game one. And Aurora, unfortunately, as we saw, there were just too many teams in between them and the zone. And now everyone who is just getting, you know, pushed up against a wall here up at Devastated Coast is going to have such a rough time.
This is going to be a massacre, by the way, for all these teams coming in from the west side of this zone, where that zone pool is. After they all have seen where the pool is too, in less than a minute, this entire lobby is about to go down to like maybe 3 or 4 teams here, because it is going to be crazy. VP, the only team in the next zone coming in from the east side, is going to be the best bet here, and it's going to be Vicious and Alliance who will rotate from that side. But HM, they're trying to get even more KP. But Illuminate just do get eliminated. Cody's just trying to back away too. Being able to take care of that Crypto Drone, so underrated, by the way, when it comes to Apex skills, because it is so crucial and sometimes difficult to find that track in here. 8 squads left. Make EU great again, who were fragging out earlier in the kill feed, do go down.
Yeah, HM have managed to pick up quite a few kills themselves. A couple of teams getting 1 or 2 team wipes. The kills have been spread out just because of the chaotic nature of this zone. Alliance, they were up near the north, closer to Launchpad. But Virtus Pro have been so good at just pushing everyone else away. Anytime they get a sniff of anyone near them, Vicky, they are using that Alter TP to take the space away from them and wipe them out before it even becomes a problem.
And that's why you just send out your Pokemon and you get to do the rest cleanup on aisle 3. No follows up. Nice wingman shots. Why are you running into the no way. And he knows he actually ended up rotating right behind that rock. Good call out, as NOVO is locked in. 7 squads left. This is important for a rotation like this, while ForFun are just trying to get a full reset. They TP away through the rock with the Ultra Portal, and VP are looking at them. No team is actually coming in from the east side. They're scared of VP, and this is the chaos that you can expect as HM are trying to stay alive. They get the next knock. They don't get the finishing blow, but can they stay alive? As NOVO wants to make sure that they can at least get the KP. He survives at 1 shot, but Chaotic Much, he's not letting him go. And on the other side, that KP is stolen because ForFun now are coming to wrap up and gatekeep Vicious while VP are looking at their backs.
There's nowhere to play. The teams aren't even looking at the zone. They are literally just looking at the teams walking in alongside them and saying, well, I hope I get these 3 KP, because God knows I'm not going to be able to get anything else. VP are just running this lobby right now. Here they go, trying to grab a few more kills onto ForFun Esports as DSK and the Vicious just cling to dear life on the outskirts of this ring.
It's perfect here, too. It's like, you know, for VP, Christmas came a lot early, and now they get to fully profit off of this. Prestis looking to the left side here, just being able to get any sort of shield stop. He's got the Kraber in hand. Can he make the play happen? Love this, too, because with the zone closing in the next 35 seconds, they know that these teams are feeling all the pressure. It's VP looking at Vicious and DSK on the other side of Vicious, as Vicious cannot clutch up the res, and Vicious get eliminated now. It's up to DSK, who are not a full man, by the way. VP are looking to fully aim and take this first game. No can do on the rest. VP are alive and healthy, and they take game number 1.
Oh my God, that was way too easy for VP. You can see that win coming like 2 to 3 circles earlier.
Yep.
And it's... Look, I did some research on these guys this week in their play style, Vicky, and I've got to say that game right there was emblematic of how they play this and why they are doing so well in Split 1, right? They get in a good position early, but they don't play it like a team burger or a hard zone team. They play it like a team who has so much aura and so much presence, and you'll see them get there with barely a blue armor, and before you know it, they're up to purple just because they are doing so much damage and being so active to everyone else who comes near them. And you saw it. You saw it on the map there. Anyone who even came into a zone close to them got demolished.
It helps, right? When they landed Stormcatcher, they have a ring con, so they have a survey beacon, they see the ring pool, and they were the first to get there. They were the first ones to call out where that final zone pool is going to be. And looking at it already at the very end, Genome, it was so volatile. That's why teams were playing for KP. They knew at this point that they weren't going to win the game, and some teams have to make that decision when you have a team like VP who called it out from the very beginning to sit pretty on that side of the zone, but they didn't just stay there, and that's another important thing to call out. They were able to get a lot more aggressive and get the 11 KP on top of the dub.
Yeah, and we talked about the leash, right? The leash that Alter gives you. You've got the dogs on it, and they can just come back. You can recall them at any time. But my lord, it wasn't just a bark. There was definitely a lot of bite there as well, Glenna.
100%. I mean, VP is at the top of the region for a reason right now. And as we take a break after match number 1, it's time for us to bring in some guests to hang out with us and chat a little bit about EMEA. We have the Apex pod back, ready to vibe. Wyatt and Don prepared. Welcome back, guys. How you feeling?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Well, a little tired maybe from watch party in APAC South Friday night and then APAC North this morning. But, we're doing good, though. We're doing good.
Yeah, you are a little bit crazy for that. But the games were amazing today in APAC, and now we just saw a pop-off performance out of VP. Quick thoughts on that first when they're done.
I mean, you just saw it early on. They literally called that zone perfectly, and with the way that you can play Alter, you just saw them extending all the way into Launchpad, picking up kills, and just be able to port back. I mean, it's just exactly how you want to play Alter in game 1, just picture perfect. And that's what they've been doing all split. It's been amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And quick thought from Wyatt real quick. Give me your thoughts on how you're feeling. Obviously, we also talked about Alliance and Aurora a lot at the top of the show. How are you feeling about both those teams right now?
I feel like they're the cream of the crop when it comes to EMEA, and I feel like it's the kind of the matchup that everybody's looking at, right? Like, it seems like everybody has a side, whether you think it's going to be Aurora or Alliance. I personally predicted Aurora is going to win Pro League, so that's the allegiance right there. So congratulations to Aurora for winning Pro League.
They are so doomed now. They are so doomed.
We'll have to see if that ends up being the official caster curse from Wyatt. Will it spell doom for Aurora? Or will you be correct? And we'll be able to follow up with you at the end of the split and give you your flowers, a little bit of a congratulations. But we're starting this conversation, obviously, about Aurora and Alliance. You guys had an opportunity to chat with, was it with Aku, on your podcast, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Let's actually throw to a quick clip that you guys have from that moment, and then we'll chat about it after.
Like, I'm obviously not there to just like fill a spot. I'm there to like win with them. But like, it's obviously some pressure, but like, you just need to like somehow like get over it. Like, you just need to like people outside there like will always be like kind of like hating on anything they like something new. Like, it's obviously a hard spot to like refill. Like, he's like one of the best fraggers, obviously.
All right, love that we're able to get his thoughts and kind of start picking his brain on that. Don, talk to me a little bit about what it was like chatting with Aku.
Yeah, I know for me, that particular interview, I wasn't able to be there, but being able to watch that back and kind of hear how just the maturity in his answers, right? You know, it's a guy coming into a situation with the best team that we've seen in EMEA for quite some time. And I just think the way he has approached this situation, I think is exactly the way you need to. And I'm just, again, I'm really excited for the growth that we'll see from this team. I also did predict Aurora would win Pro League, but I don't know if it's a hot take, but I do think Alliance gets their get back and will do better at LAN versus Aurora. So we'll have to see.
And just imagine, guys, like the pressure that Aku has in filling in shoes like that. Like, that's always been on my mind, and I'm glad that you guys were able to get his thoughts on that, especially seeing like well-spoken he is, and the legacy that he's also trying to build up with a team that has been in Apex for so long. I mean, is there anything else that he shared there too, kind of indicating like the pressure that he has? Does that add into the nerves that whenever he plays?
Yeah, I think you could tell just immediately from talking to him that he understood the like how big of shoes he needed to fill coming into Alliance. It's a big org, but not only that, it's a really well-known team in Apex, and it takes a lot to step into that role. But just looking at where he's gone so far, I mean, he's already 14th overall in kills. He's 9th in kills per match. Still really early on in this Pro League split. There's plenty of time to improve. So I think the sky's the limit for him and for Alliance.
Look, Wyatt, you're definitely a bit of a hot takes guy. You know, you're definitely not afraid to get a little crazy. So I'm gonna pose you a question. Now that we've had these roster changes, who do you think has the higher skill ceiling? Aurora as it stands, or Alliance as it stands?
Okay, so this is tough. I think it's still, I think I have to side with Dawn on this, because even though I did say I felt like Aurora was going to end up winning Pro League, I do think Alliance still has the higher skill ceiling. I also think they just have a lot more like experience. I think it just fits them. Like, I feel like that type of situation fits them a little bit better. So, I mean, yeah, winning Pro League is great, but obviously everybody here wants to win a LAN, and I think that Alliance still has all of the tools to do so. And with adding Aku into this, I think it makes it even better, especially like a young player like that. He's hungry, he's ready to go. So yeah, I still think it's Alliance. I still think that leans towards Alliance.
Okay. And if we're continuing on hot takes, Don, we talked about it at the top of the show. Roster transfer window is opening up after today. Do you think there are going to be any roster Wait, there's predictions, Don. Talk me through this.
Yeah. So I was trying to theory craft a little bit, and some of the teams I thought of that we might see some sort of change. I think with Infinite, it's really going to be the question of Zidane. Does he want to stick with the roster he's with? Does he want to maybe make a change and go elsewhere? I see them right now. They sit outside that top 9. And right now that top 9 is going to be very difficult to work your way into. So I think for me, I'm going to be really curious to see what he decides to do. I think with Orglis and Hungary, I just think right now they're really missing a fragger that can really open up a lot of fights for them. So I'm very curious to see what move they make, because they're also not playing today. So they're going to slip further down the leaderboard. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And then I think for UAV, having a champion like Uchako on the roster, I do think that he may look at his situation and be like, okay, is there potentially somewhere else I can go? Or is there somebody I can maybe grab that can maybe elevate us a little bit more? Because even right now, I know they're playing today, but they sit outside even the top 20 for regional finals. So I'm very curious to see what UAV decides to do. And one player I do want to keep an eye on is going to be Nate from Mega. He's been frying this split, and a lot of times you see these roster changes, it comes from a young fragger that these teams want to add to their roster to bolster what they can do in fights. So really curious to see what happens with those teams.
All right, well, I love those predictions. We'll have to keep an eye on those squads and see if any of them happen to come to fruition. Don, Wyatt, thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with us. You guys have been a blast as always, but the game is starting, so we have to say goodbye for now and throw it straight to Vicky and Genome to dive back into match 2.
Thank you, guys. Okay, I love being able to hear like all those thoughts, Gino. I mean, not only do we have roster preds, I mean, they're gonna have preds for everything here. Preds on what legends we're gonna have banned next year too. Preds on the roster changes coming in together. Again, Alter is no longer able to be played as she was the most picked legend for game number 1. But I mean, Gino, do you have any thoughts here on maybe other roster preds and other roster moves we're gonna be having in EMEA?
Oh, it's that's a really tough one. It is, right? And I think the fact that we only have the 1 week to talk about it is great. I'm gonna let the teams sort of speak for themselves, right? I don't want to be putting anyone's name on the chopping block. Okay, I don't want to be involved in the executions whatsoever,
or cursing them.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, Don did have some good points there. The fact that, yeah, exactly, someone like Yuchako, who has a championship to his name, is not even going to make regional finals if things stay the way they are, is certainly worrying. And I could definitely see him potentially finding his way onto another roster.
Yeah, you know what? Just for the sake of the history of these roster changes in the ALGS genome, I'm just gonna say at least almost half of them will probably maybe go through a change. I don't agree with it all the time here because, you know, I feel like finding your synergy is just better long-term wise than short-term. But we gotta look on ahead, especially after the first game that we just had. VP put on a banger of a performance. They not only took the game in first place, but they took it with 11 KP after landing Stormcatcher and making a quick rotate to the final zone.
It was a very quick rotate from them, and then they just, they deleted everyone else they saw. It was a fantastic game from them, and as we'll go through the rest of the series, Vicky, I think what we're going to see is something very similar, except that they're going to execute that game plan with a very different set of legends than other people are going to, right? You know, whether the Wraith, the Maggie comes out, they're the kind of legends that a lot of teams you would see them play more the edge, more that, you know, mid speed that Graceful likes to talk about, where they're scanning that third ring and then coming in. But the fact that these guys are doing it from hard zone and then completing the games like we saw in game 1 is just something that, you know, I think they're just better at than everyone else right now.
Listen, maybe a Maggie wrecking ball slamming into the lobby here while we get all of our players loaded in. Game start, where is the game? Press the button, casters. Yeah, we're getting that already. But while we talk about a little bit of what to expect here, I want to talk a little bit about Aku and his tweet, because Aku's been on all of our minds, and accountability is the #1 thing I don't see a lot of players that like to Eagle Chow take on. So I've never played so bad on a Pro League day, but next week I will come back stronger. Sorry for everyone. Aku, don't worry. We know Alliance will be able to ramp up. But again, that goes hand in hand, Genome, to the pressure that we were talking about that Aku feels.
Yeah, it must be monumental, right? I mean, that guy has like a mountain on his shoulder. There's no bigger shoes to fill as far as a fragger goes, especially in EMEA. And if you have a look at that, it was a pretty good effort, to be honest. Like, it was a little bit shaky at the start, but they definitely ramped up. And, you know, I think there was that week where they had it was like 20 kills for Unlucky, 20 kills for Aku as well. Like, you don't do that unless you are already an elite fragger in the server.
And you take a look at what happened in game #1. They literally land in North Pad, and the zone pulled on the complete opposite side of the map, which also comes into the conversation that we had before we got started with our first game, Genome. Which of these teams benefit off of this type of play style? Do they prefer to play within the rings that pull towards them, or do they like to side quest and play more on the edge, much more aggressive play style? It's really hard, though, when you have a team like VP who do like to play really aggressively, who do like to gatekeep a lot of teams, clear their backs to make sure that they could freely take reign on any of the squads that they force to be funneled into one side of zone, because they don't have to worry about a 3P. They don't have to worry about a team getting an altered TP reset. They don't have to worry about that, at least anymore, after the first game. But Alliance, they still were able to get 2 KP. They got 8th place in that first game. And on a map like Stormpoint, where they usually try to find themselves getting that early momentum start.
Yeah, 2KP, not massive for Alliance. I mean, we saw it was an extremely hard ring to play, Vicky. Like, you know, like it felt hopeless. Like there are so many times in Apex where you get into a situation as a pro team, you're just like, there's nothing I could have done. Like, you know, there are 3 teams around me. There's nowhere to go. Things have conspired to the point where we just have to give up. And I've rarely seen a zone like that where that is true of almost everybody except one team. And that was VP last game. It just felt like everyone else gave up.
It's so hard too when you know that there's no protection in this lobby, right? Just a pre-phase. We had 20 altars, 18 cryptos, 10 caustics, 5 Mad Maggies, 3 Bangalores, 1 catalyst, by the way. Imagine Cat in an end zone like that, and 1 fuse as well as 1 Valkyrie. But I'm being told, guys, that our players are still loading into the lobby. Don't go anywhere because on the other side of this break, we got game number 2 within EMEA. The wait is over, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And I'm hearing that our players are loaded and ready to go for our game number 2 on Storm Point, Genome.
Oh, God, I hope so. It's been so long since game 1 already, Vicky. I need more Apex. Come on.
Put it in my veins. I love Apex, man. One of the best games ever to do it for all the right reasons. I'm so excited for that new legend, the new season right around the corner. I hope everybody is having some great ranked games. You only have a few hours left for the next day. So now our Pro League players are also ready to frag out, especially after taking a page out of the VP book. We got to see where this next zone is going to be pulling because, Genome, it was a bloodbath. When you have no protection, it really highlights why some people may want to call the Newcastle Givian Valkyrie the baby comp. But anyways, meatball comp, I don't know. We're gonna find out soon enough, guys. VP, your winners of game number 1, being able to land over here by Stormcatcher. Also already having that ring console goes hand in hand to what we were talking about, right? Sometimes you also have that survey beacon that's right there too, so you can get the quick scan when you're running the crypto and already figure out where you want to situate yourself in that final zone.
Yeah, it's interesting that nobody is willing to take a hit, right? We have seen in the Americas region, some teams are willing to actually play Wraith in the first game just so that crypto is confirmed banned in game 1, right? Like, they'll play Altar, they won't play Crypto just because those two usually go together, and that means almost certainly Crypto will get banned, and therefore, as we talked about it being such a big counter to Gibraltar, to Newcastle, to Watson, that you can start to bring those legends in a game earlier.
It's great. And taking a look at where this zone is pooling, by the way, on the other side of the southern part of Storm Point, this time taking a trip down over to the east, right on top of Bandits POI. It's going to be a Barometer North zone. And Aurora already quick on their rotate after exiting out of having a Trident in their hands. They're going to be hanging out on the back end. And that's actually one of my favorite spots to hang out in. But they've actually called out one member of Bandits specifically. And Light is just trying to run away with his life. Aurora catching them in the middle of a split POI drop where they were trying to loot differently.
Oof. Oh, not a good start. Not a good start when you're already dropping down here. But yeah, Aurora have caught them unawares. I'm trying to see. Oh, they did have a ring console, and they are running Caustic. So presumably they should have known people were coming in on their heads. I mean, the situation in which I would have more sympathy, Vicky, is when you don't get a ring console, right? Players are always complaining about this. It can be a big problem. You just see 3 teams Valk ult in, you're like, oh, Zone might be on us, guys. Like, we should probably group up. But if you've had that option from the start, I don't know who else you got to blame but yourself.
And that combined together, that when you have a control legend get a scan on the ring console, you automatically get that evac tower. So it goes hand in hand with a lot more of these faster rotates on top of having a Trident if you want to use it for some extra cover before it gets blown up inevitably. VP, by the way, talking about fast rotates. No! Taskmaster, he gets called out by the team holding high in Barometer, and it's going to be a full 8-fest. This just leaves Prestus alive. He's got the RE45, but he misses those shots. And our winners of game number 1 are the first team to go out for game number 2.
Did I give them too much gas, Vicky? Is this the caster curse? Did we go for too long about how good they were? I mean, look, the one thing I will say is the other side of the coin, like the downfall of the way that they've been playing and taking those good early spots, is that they're not afraid to fight for a really, really good spot early on. They're not the kind of team that will rock up and be like, oh, that's what's taken. Yeah, no worries. You guys have that. We'll just, we'll find somewhere else. They'll just be like, nah, it's ours. We're going in for it because we know that that spot can net us. What was it, 23 points or something in the first game?
Yep, basically, and that's why a lot of these other teams too are trying to follow suit in that Mamma Mia being able to rotate up on this high ground is incredible. It depends on where the next zone is going to be pulling, but having control over on this height allows you to overlook a lot of the other teams kind of floating around with their own crypto drones. Other teams that may want to try to sneak up a scan, but you get to destroy the crypto drones before they even get that opportunity. Look at this. So many teams are just taking a Hail Mary dive because we only have like 2 Valkyries, I believe, in this entire lobby. So they literally do not know what is free and what isn't unless you have Sweepy out here. Potassium not trying to fall in a similar way that VP did, and they are going to be able to get this res together with the Caustic. They have a fuse as well, and together in hand, so they'll be able to control a lot of that space with extra pressure with these nades. We see non-stop fighting here, this time on the hands of K, Swinny, and Missy. They're trying to make a Wraith portal out. They try to get into the phase. Nags does not go down without a fight, and they safely rotate out.
Oh, they just get out via that Wraith portal. Good work from Cinetic here. Shepherding his boys, Nags and Tyler, through the tunnel, and they might have another fight yet ahead of them. Vicky, Colonel Node are waiting over in Jurassic. Both teams potentially looking to grab the Evo Harvester, maybe the Survey Beacon there as well. Of course, all of this can now be achieved with just your drone, right? I mean, the fact that they added being able to grab Evo Harvesters with Hack, the crypto drone, is making him just so strong, and definitely why he is, across all regions, the most likely to be banned in Game 1 and the rare Game 2 ban that we're seeing here.
I wouldn't want to be a Caustic, though, in a lobby like this with literally everybody, 18 cryptos in the lobby. It'd just be a shame if all your gas traps that you put down, you find yourself in a pretty spot to just get blown up by an EMP. Such as the legend comps when it comes to counter picks that we've had within the ALGS. It makes everything even more exciting, while Alliance on their side quest once again, since they have to go from North Pad, a little bit of a better zone pool since it's on their side of the rotate, but once again, they want to prio getting these Evo Harvesters, the information. They're approaching from the north side of Cascade Falls, while ForFun, Esports, you saw them taking some shots with the longbow onto a moving trident right in front of their face, are also just trying to wrap up to see if they can get a survey beacon, but there's two other teams that are looking at them that may prevent them from having that information. It's going to be Colonel Node and Awakened.
Yeah, those guys are sitting within the zone, and oh, and a fight on top. Barrow. This is actually pretty unusual, especially when you consider we don't have Alter in the lobby. I mean, if you had Alter in here, sure, I could see some teams queuing up, you know, from the low ground to try and fight those spots. I do have to wonder, like, I mean, Novo don't have a Valk. I could see maybe a Valk Slam trying to get in there. Mamma Mia eliminated. But usually Top Barrow is like one of the most unassailable, safest places to play until it goes out of zone.
Yeah, like a lot of teams just taking a Hail Mary type fight when trying to contest for spots like this, and it's scary. While you also have Make EU Great Again wrapped up on the other side of Barometer here. You see Potassium still probably on that lower side of Barometer. Aurora, who have safely found their spots on the south side where Bandits were able to try to get a reset going after that early action that we saw, but it still continues to pull towards the south side, which is why I was highlighting Aurora and their positioning and having that survey beacon and ring console just benefited them in being able to get to the southern spot where you see the zipline that takes you above the Trident, safe and sound, where they could take a look at the other teams that may want to take a much more roundabout position and getting onto the edge of zone closer to where the islands are.
Those islands, the bridges as well, as we close in towards the end of this game, will become more and more playable. But of course, the legends that you'd want to set up in there with them, Vicky, you know, the Newcastle, Watson especially, we don't have any of those in the lobby just yet. Are they waiting for the crypto ban? Usually, sometimes teams will also wait for a Maggie ban before deciding to pick up that Gibby. Definitely the two legends that give them the most trouble, and as such, they will just have to rely on scouting with their crypto drones, who will of course be banned next, a 90% pick rate in this particular match, and just their caustic barrels, frankly, to keep the other teams at bay.
I mean, you talked about it, Gino. I mean, you don't want to deal with a crypto drone when you're running a Gibby at Newcastle. You want to take advantage of those electrified barrier that you slammed down here. Your bubbles on top of it all, especially when now they're electrified, by the way. But it's crazy, as Uchaku is still trying to gatekeep a team from trying to get some information, still looking on with the wingman in hand. And it's going to be Colonel Node, who are just trying to take a rotate here to try to take this isolated fight. I like this, getting aggressive. It's gonna be Colonel Node, not only for this information, but for some extra KP. They push in with the Wraith portal, but unfortunately, Crypto goes down here. He can't clutch out with the Hemlock. Arctic looks behind him. He immediately gets beamed, loses out on his shield, and it's gotta be a little bit of reset. Uchaku does have some extra shields himself, but the Arc Stars and playing behind the knockdown comes out even more.
All right, Wingman Mozambique. That's a Giga Chad loadout if I've ever seen one. And Uchaku here 2 of them left alive. Goes for the res at the wrong time. Not sure if that was maybe even like just accidentally hit the button when, you know, sometimes someone's just holding the knock there in front of you and you accidentally get it on top of them. But no, continue to peek him. We've talked about the stakes for UAV at the moment. They need KP here. They need a good day, even to just make it into regional finals. And all of a sudden, it's harder than ever. And Arctic now needs to clutch out against Node.
There's spaghetti all over the floor. I could see the nerves literally playing out right now. We've all been in that position because guess what? Also, a 3P is within the vicinity because this fight has just been taking way too long. If it's longer than like 15 seconds or so, and Vicious are looking down at them, they do take one of the Wraith portals, so it looks like the reset could come in, even if it's just as a duo. But that'd be incredibly clutch because then they could just take a much more safer rotation, go in from the north side where there is a respawn beacon by Cito. But Vicious now wanting to get involved here for the 3P. EMP on board, but they got the Wraith portal to back away. But they don't know. They don't know. Big Clutch comes in and waiting for them on the other side is another team here. It's Havoc Legends that try to scoop it up. But Big Clutch is coming in with the clutch here. He gets the portal. He's out here. He's going to be able to get up on the high ground. Just safe and sound after Hoodie gets taken out. Looking at the Valkyrie who's on the other side of the door though. Can they come out? It's Havoc Legends playing this in a disadvantage, unfortunately, as a duo. It's only up to the Valkyrie. The one clip off the R9, but is the syringe? No, it's not. It's going to be round 3. It's going to be too much damage, but Chaotic is still alive. He's still got the res onto Hoodie, and the will get the res onto McClutch.
Yeah, look, presumably they have the meds to pull this off. There we go. Chaotic gets the med kit off. And even though it's round 3, they should still be able to get back into the fight. That said, all the teams that were still in Jurassic before are still there now, right? UAV, Colonel, and Novo Esports still just chilling. The way the zone pulled actually gave all of these teams quite a while to sort out their differences. They haven't done it yet. They've been kind of slacking, and as a result, they are all going to have to do that within the next minute because they've got to get to Barrow. It's Barrow or nothing. UAV finally making a move now as we've had an interesting ring pull, by the way. Vicky, there's a lot of water that we're going to be getting in that ring 5.
And hopefully nobody ends up drowning here because it's been pretty tough. I love how you pinpoint that. It looks a lot different and how messy these fights are looking when you don't have an Alter TP, by the way, for your insurance, and instead you're rocking with the old school Wraith. Literally just night and day difference. But we go in, Kudo, missing some of those shots with the R9, and I am out of here. See you later, hasta la vista. It's going to be that one player who's just trying to stay alive. But there's all their teams here, and it's Vicious who see that opportunity, and they pick it up like it's a free present at their feet.
Christmas coming early, maybe? I don't know. Are they getting, they might be getting cold the way they are so far out of the ring right now. I don't think it's going to be much of a present for them, frankly. Alliance, you can see, actually getting the insta respawn there onto Unlucky. Hackers must have had the drone waiting and ready to go at the respawn beacon. But as it stands, they're playing in the coffin. The coffin is still outside the zone, so they need to make a further entrance towards HM and Awakened.
Bubblegum being able to find Guts though, but he cannot clutch out when this other team is still able to hide and find a different angle. It's up to 3 tricks here. Pixel Lumina having another difficult game. 15 squads left and trying to get away with Stay Healthy, who had probably portaled in so that way they could 3P this. Very smart on them because they're on the DBZ building that overlooks the bunker that exits out of Cenote Caves, where Eclipse are trying to reset, as well as Alliance. In a difficult situation here, seeing where Alliance is and still being on this other side of the zone. This is where a lot of the chaos was when it comes out of the jungle side, the big building of Barometer, where 3 men and Colonel Node are currently located together with the Mythic Bin.
Yeah, look, Unlucky is trying to work out if it is actually his lucky day. They're going to try and res him behind this tiny rock. Just enough space, maybe, to get him back up. Very lucky a Maggie drill hasn't found him yet. They've got just enough cover, just enough smoke to get them into this next building, which everyone else, luckily for them, has vacated. People are starting to make their move towards the west of the zone, where DSK are waiting, as the zone actually ends up finishing closer to Cenote Caves than it does to Barometer.
Imagine just having a Trident to work off of cover. Imagine if you couldn't delete the Tridents, by the way, by destroying it with your own damage. Unlucky. Tries to get the one clip over to the other side. Aku pops the bat at a good time after the EMP rolls out. It's the get ready, set, go button here. Aku just playing off the high ground. A little bit of a scattered fight here. And again, it's another messy fight. I like what I'm seeing here, but Aki's is able to get that first knock. Now they have the advantage here despite unlucky Aki's losing out on their shield.
HM go down. Alliance have cleared a lot of space for themselves. Hopefully they can find something in these death boxes, maybe some evac towers, some sort of way to get them into the next zone. They're gonna have to go past stay healthy. They're currently playing from both the nut and the bridge. A little bit of a split hold right now, but neither of those positions are really in the next zone. Maybe one of the stairwells on the sort of more southern side of the bridge. Alliance need to look for that.
And hopefully we'll stay healthy. Looking at Eclipse, they could get away with it. 3 men now. Coming in from the high ground of Barometer, making a portal play. Spapalons is going to be able to try to taxi along the rest of his team through all the chaos. Make EU great again. Potassium, Colonel, Node, ForFun are looking at Bandits. Aurora, by the way, Prioed. They're rotating to take this fight early with a huge nade to find Stagger. G-Dolphin is the next to fall, and DSK are in shambles. They're trying to stay alive. And guess who also found themselves in the middle of this zone? Coming in from the north side of Barometer is Alliance. Eclipse right behind Alliance, and Alliance is about to get pinched as Aurora still on blue shields, though, are looking to capitalize on their position. Alliance take this fight, and it's just a matter of time, but it's gotta be a fast cleanup. Eclipse do get taken out. Can Alliance get the shield swap? And they do. Hotkeys pressures out Oirain, forcing Oirain to back away so they can't capitalize off of a 3P situation.
Lo and behold, Alliance do find the evac and make their way into prime spot in zone, but just as I was hoping we'd get the straight up 3v3 between our favorite rivalry, Alliance and Aurora. Stay healthy, pinch them from the north, and I don't think Alliance have got any way to get out of this.
A tale as old as time. As Aku gets a next knock, Effect follows up to find Aku, by the way. And now Alliance are down to 1. They're trying to cling on for dear life, but there's no 3P to save them. And Aurora having a crypto, they have the information. Look at Hiraka's gonna be able to give them that info. Unlucky, just trying to stay alive, but Oirain missing out on these crucial RE45 shots while there's still a team trying to reset from underneath the bridge being stay healthy.
I mean, he's got almost a naked RE45 just trying to put down the last member of Alliance, who's found a nice little spot in zone. Meanwhile, 4 other teams are sitting on the eastern side of zone. And as you can see, time is ticking down. 5 seconds before they have to start making their way towards the waiting arms of Aurora.
Oh, the Hemlock recharge is the nail in the coffin, ending Game 2's run for Alliance. Well, Aurora, they're sitting on the other side of this zone, but a res happening. Stay healthy. Actually get the res onto Guts right on top of the Moby that was placed down by Alliance originally in the middle of this zone where Aurora is sitting.
5 teams left alive. ForFun,
nice.
Esports take over the spot where Alliance were trying to hold in the middle and make EU great again. Look like they do have a port in zone, but these rocks that they're all hiding behind are offering such scant cover that Aurora are continuing to pick up more and more kills. 7 to their name so far.
Oh, they're farming. They're farming right now. This is what happens when you hold that south side of Barometer in a zone like this. Blesses you. EMP coming in as it tries to blow up on top of everybody as they were taking those Wraith portals. Effect now is going to be the front liner. Looking on the other side of Make EU Great Again. They have to be careful. Kiner was looking ahead, and it's going to be the Make EU Great Again versus Aurora. Not trying to get overzealous as Aurora with 9 KP, but Make EU Great Again have momentum. They have 12 KP in total right now, Gino.
And look at this Effect trying to take the angles here, trying to close the net on them. He comes around on the caustic, throwing barrels into their face. Look at this, they have to take so much damage just to push into him.
He is so smart. He makes them wrap on the other side into the line of sight of the rest of his team for Aurora to take game number 2 with heavy KP. 12 KP to their name on top of the dub.
Good stuff from them, and Make EU Great Again also grabbed 12 KP, so they've evened it up in that last final 3v3. Aurora with 24 points in game 2.
Oh my goodness, Gino. Leaving out of Cenote Cave to that southern side of the zone in playing it safe. Let's not forget, they were on Blue Evil Shields until they had rotated outside of that cable cart building into the left side of zone where they wrapped behind a team. They capitalized. They were in a bad position. Unfortunately for Alliance, they couldn't find themselves in a good spot in a zone like that when you have two teams that were fighting behind you originally, so you equally just get pinched. And the way that we saw Effect's point of view for that final fight specifically, notice he plays around the rocks. He's got the RE45. Even if he gets full swung by a three-man team, he's got himself in a good spot to allow his teammates to capitalize into their line of sight and pressure them out. Beautiful chef's kiss final zone fight here for Aurora to take the win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just got that killer instinct, doesn't he? It doesn't matter if he's, you know, technically the anchor player. Who cares? Let's just throw that term out. It doesn't really seem to apply to him at times because you can see whenever there's an opening, he will find it. He'll sniff it out. He'll get there and he will help his team walk all the way up into first place. Equal, actually, I guess, here with Mega.
Is huge. Make EU great again. They did get a good amount of KP for that first game, so I'm actually not too surprised right there. Even if they didn't get the placement points, they had gotten 3 KP at the very least, top 9 on top of it, but it makes up when you have 12 KP and a second place finish, tying things with Aurora, but still pretty tight with VP having that explosive first game and being the first team to get knocked out for game number 2. They're still trailing right behind by 3 points. And guys, if you like to see a banger of a finishing fight like that, don't forget we have our multi-view where you could set up your pro player perspective. Visit algs.ea.com to set up your own multi-view. Listen to the comms of our teams, of your favorite player, and take some notes. That way you could bring that within your own respective games. All right, here, Genome. I mean, already after game number 2, it's been non-stop action, and I cannot wait to see what our final game on Storm Point is going to look like. Don't go anywhere, anyone. Everybody sit down, get some water. It's going to be one heck of a show in EMEA, and we'll be right back for game number 3.
Red Bull is giving wings to the ALGS and the Apex community.
Red Bull gives you wings.
In this game, victory is a choice. You lose. You rebuild. You evolve. Or you're left in the dust. No, we are not done yet. This is where we earn our scars.
I bloody love this egg.
Every loss takes a piece of you. Until only the strongest parts remain. Keep moving.
to the Apex Legends Global Series. 2 matches are already done for EMEA, and we are about to head into match number 3. Glitter Explosion and Vicky Kitty here to talk you through all of the action. We give Genome a little bit of a break, but we have started off the day with 2 of the teams that we literally mentioned to kick things off, Vicky. We get VP with the win in match number 1, and now Aurora with the match in number 2. I mean, this is a really strong performance so far.
It's been great, too, because it's been double-digit KP. And you know how I feel, Glitter, when it's been nonstop action. I've been calling a lot of these fights very messy. It feels like you could see the nerves being played out for some of our, even for some of our players that have been competing for a long time. I mean, it also dictates how some of these teams may be feeling before the roster changes come out eventually, and seeing where they stand in the overall standings. Crypto no longer played. Our top legend composition thus far here is going to be that Caustic, Crypto, and Wraith, and now no more. You're not going to be having that coming through when it comes to how strong Crypto and Alter have been.
Yeah, and look at these comp pick rates right now. You know, you had been mentioning it when we just saw it in the second match after Alter is banned. What are your options? You've got the Wraith coming through, so you at least have some sort of a portal option. Doesn't, you know, maybe not exactly the same, but I love that at least in EMEA, we understand what to expect out of them when it comes to these compositions. They are pretty consistent right now.
They are, and it's also highlights like the teams that didn't feel as confident, like going back on the portal for Wraith just to be met with like a 3P opportunity. Like, you don't have the safety net of the Alter portal to come through to help you get a reset yourself from a way further distance. But this is the last game on Stormpoint, Glitter. It's looking pretty tight for the day so far with the way that our teams have been playing. Cannot wait to see where this next zone's going to go as our dropships have taken off, and let's get this started.
You know, I'm actually excited that things are looking really close right now. And you guys had also talked about Make EU great again because they were the team that got second place in the last match, but they did so also with 12 KP. And this is something that we've just seen repeating out of them performance-wise. They are always hunting kills down. That's where a lot of their points are coming through. They're super, super aggro. And depending on who they run across, they have definitely spoiled some people's plans along the way.
Definitely have here with how aggressive they've been able to approach this. Hiraka, by the way, is on the Mirage. Papi Mirage, he was just hanging out with me in the hot tub. It looks like he's no longer going to be here because this is the only Mirage that we have, by the way, in this lobby, which goes back to what Gino was mentioning with some teams trying to go for unorthodox picks to prevent other legends from getting banned out first, which is really important when we move on to E-District because the most picked legend thus far for this game is Valkyrie. So Valkyrie will not be played on E-District, and this is going to be moving over more so to the center part of Stormpoint.
Interesting. Interesting move on behalf of Aurora. Something, honestly, that they can afford not only after their performance in match number 2, but just in general, where they are in the overall standings. We're going to take a look at this ring and who's going to be moving in there first. None other than VP coming straight over from that eastern side and starting to look for a little bit of space to hold. And I think they're going to be looking for a bounce back after match number 2. That was definitely a little bit of a fall from grace after winning the first one.
They really took the Hail Mary dive like to the next level, literally, when they don't have a Valkyrie and they're like, I hope this is free. And then they just got aped by a team that was able to get back onto the high ground because they had a red portal, just reset if they needed to. It goes hand in hand with the way a lot of these teams want to approach these rotations and how important it is too. So VP looking for a little bit of revenge after coming out of Stormcatcher where they got the ring console, so they got the evac tower. They immediately dove down here and have the information on playing by the DBZ building closer on the outskirts of Cedo, because in a zone like this, Glitter, we have seen it pull more slightly towards the Jurassic side on the south side, so it's not a bad spot to hold when you get to gatekeep a lot of teams. But sheesh, Frick's taking a good amount of that damage, and Missile Swarm coming in right afterwards, and a difficult spot to hang out in. It's going to be Novo looking at, I believe, Stay Healthy, and then Mamma Mia being deep in Coastal Camp.
Yeah, that could potentially be a little bit of a messy back and forth on the southern side of this ring. You've got Bandits heading that direction as well, and depending on how long these teams start to drag this out, could be a little bit risky. So you can see that Novo has completely left. They don't want to deal with this anymore. Stay Healthy, Mamma Mia still in that area with Bandits now wrapping around on the south side of Coastal, seeing if maybe there's an opportunity to try and pick this off. You can see those pings coming through. They're looking for those squads. And I do love, though, Vicky, that we're seeing a lot more early game aggression than what we saw last time around out of EMEA.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a lot of fights just for the sake of I am not contesting a charge rifle. You got me messed up here. He said, all right, heal over time so that way you don't burn your big meds fast. Yeah, absolutely. That's why you don't see a medkit in Henchman's hands. And instead of having 12 of those shield cells and 6 of these syringes, so they can just swap back and forth on this. But it's also important because guess what? Henchman being on the Valkyrie isn't on blue. And you need the blue perk for Valkyrie to get the scan through walls. So it's about fighting for this information. Even if they had the survey beacon over by barometer, they could eventually wrap up if they want to take a rotation to Echo HQ, where there's a survey beacon uncontested. Literally everybody has already left that southeastern side of the zone. So they could benefit off of this because right now, Seer sitting on the top with the charge rifle. It does not spell itself great for Henchman as he gets beamed and taken out.
I was just going to say that I actually like the aggression out of Mask up here on the high ground. I think it's worth taking a little bit of damage and using some of your small heals to get that Evo up on your shield. And as I was thinking that, he was able to get the knock. So I think that there's no need for Mamma Mia to push anything crazy here, right? But this is definitely going to benefit them in the long run as they're continuing to do a lot of poke damage. Novo's moved back in to see if there's maybe an opportunity to follow up on here. There isn't, so they're still going to be playing on that edge with Stay Healthy, just kind of hanging out in the building. Meanwhile, we get to see what Colonel Notice doing. They're chasing down Solo.
What? No! That's messed up, actually. That was crazy. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Not only do you scoop up with a dome, but then you force missiles just actually ricochet off the inside of the... Like, what can you do there? Like, all right. Well, on to the next one. It's going to be a literal drive-by. Welcome to GTA Legends here. And now Colonel Node, after picking up some free KP, it's going to be Havoc as a duo that is out of this lobby. And now onto the survey beacon that is waiting for them on the bottom end of the mountain where Alliance have rotated out of North Pad too. So Alliance could hear that Trident coming in. While Mask, by the way, has not stopped harassing the bottom end team with this charge rifle. Here we go again for Mamma Mia, and they're having to keep themselves aware of the team that could 3P them from the right side, which is why Mask did not jump down from this high ground to ape the knock that he already got, especially with this current weapon loadout.
None of these teams have left. Everyone is just kind of lingering here, waiting to see if there's going to be an opportunity. And it's not the end of the world because they don't have anybody else literally on the entire bottom half of the map with them, but they still do have 4 teams all fighting to look for the exact same thing. And the longer they wait, the closer they will be to having to leave this POI together. Another great shot out of Mask. This charge rifle is really putting in work for Mamma Mia right now, at least creating a lot of zoning opportunity, because that went on to Novo and kept them at bay. And I feel like you can just wait. Like you can see Novo waiting in the wings, waiting for someone to go down so that they can move in, but they should start rotating away, I feel like.
Yeah, because Mamma Mia know that. Like, that's why they keep pressuring them out. It's like, we're not going to let you just walk up for free. You're going to feel pressure here. You're going to just allow me to farm with this charge rifle to boost up my own Evo shield. But keeping that aware is also making them basically stop trying to harass bandits here. As Awaken now moving. The next knock from Missy, the wrecking ball. Oh my goodness. Everything gets annihilated. G-Dolphin's actually the definition of one shot. And Missy cleans up the entire team. DSK get eliminated. And it comes in clutch here when not only are you a control legend, you got that armor perk as well, so you'll just be able to hang out with not only that amp but the red Evo too. As Alliance take off to the skies, they'll have their own human UAV to scan through the walls to figure out where Alliance wants to sit in, and they'll get information of all the teams within the vicinity on where they want to be.
Honestly, that was a really good fight on behalf of Awaken, not only to claim a little bit of space right on the edge of that ring, as you can see there, but they did it in a massive death ball, dumped everything they had, and just kind of really guaranteed the KP alongside of that and didn't allow for any sort of a third-party opportunity. Meanwhile, we could see that quartet down on the bottom. They've all dispersed. Everybody's now left, and they're finally making those rotations, trying to see if they can move into a circle that's already quite full with a lot of these squads. So it's going to be tough for them moving in on these edges. Bandits driving past Aurora, moving past Aurora right now. And we finally get to check in with Alliance like you were talking about to see if they're going to maybe start a little bit of a back and forth on this northern side. They are all on purple though, which is great for them.
Yeah, that's part of the side question they do, but I'm genuinely surprised, Glitter, that this building was free. Like, looking at how many teams did an early rotate, this is the benefits of the meatball comp. I mean, you know, baby comp, we're going to see. We're going to find out again, but it's about having that information and being able to safely put yourself in that northern building that's going to benefit Alliance, depending on where the circle pool is going to be. Again, I do expect it to pull more outside of Cedo, closer to Jurassic, but it's a lot riskier of a position to hold very early on because it's very easy to get 3P'd there, as Bandits rotating with their own Trident have isolated themselves in this southeast, or rather southwest choke. They get to look ahead at the action happening because, is that a Seer ultimate? Yes, the exhibition is going to be able to showcase where everybody is after we just saw Awakened Phoenix. It's going to be to heal up and Missy after fragging out, though. They're stuck in the middle, and Alliance, for free, get to pick them up like it's a buffet of KP.
Now, I don't know what the decision was moving in for them there, but that was definitely a tough one. I mean, there are so many teams right in that area that they were going to have to go through. And like you said, the building that Alliance got, or the space that Alliance was able to get, you were shocked by because that's just how full everything was. I don't know if there was really any even space for Awakened Alliance. Now, move in even further. They've got a little bit more space. They can play with this room. They've got the purple. Hack is doing a little bit of a loot snatch here, and might be able to survive as well. You saw a couple bullets flying in with a little bit of poke damage, but they should still be good on that northern side. They've got a strong position, a lot of space to play, and a lot of protection that they can work behind. Meanwhile, Mamma Mia has rotated all the way around to the eastern side of things, and they're looking to scooch in just a little bit. They do have Colonel Node in the area. Stay Healthy is behind them, so they have to watch their backs as well as they try to continue to push in. They see that Valk out in the open, trying to see if they can maybe do a little bit of poke damage as she makes her way across. But a little bit of settling here from those teams down at the bottom. No more of that kind of like unnecessary chaos.
Mask is a problem with this charge rifle, by the way. I'm just seeing the beam from like left field here. And it also highlights too, like a team like this that doesn't have the Valkyrie, right? And Alliance being one of the 5 teams running the baby comp or flying meatball, etc. Showcases like how scary it could be in making these rotates without having that information. If you've already used up a survey beacon, or you can't get to a survey beacon because another team is pressuring you out because you don't have the same information that a Valkyrie team does.
That's true. As we get an opportunity here to take a little bit of a top-down look at what this has meant for everyone. Alliance still clustered up on that northern side, still near 3 men, ForFun Esports, etc. Meanwhile, Aurora still hanging out on the edge, waiting to move in. When they do decide to make that push in, they will have ECLIPSE in the area and make EU great again, holding the edge of that next ring that they'll be paying attention to. But they have a really nice spot. They've got nobody that's going to be wrapping around on their backs right now. They've been doing a good job kind of watching that and making sure that wasn't going to happen. And now they can really focus their attention towards the center of everything. I mean, this is a little bit of the lull before everything starts to pop off.
I have no idea how Aurora is going to make it into this next zone, especially since they're the only team running the Mirage, the Mad Maggie, the Wraith. It's hard out here. Ooh! But then they take it. They land inside this building that is, by the way, fenced up by a Watson, and they just got deleted. We saw Vicious for 2 seconds on the screen, and the moment they landed, they saw that this building was free, but guess what? It was already fenced up, and that was a really smart move. There was a team that was previously here. You see the Wraith portal. They get to pick up some great loot here, and now Bandits in a similar situation, except they're one of the teams running the baby comp. Let's jump into a listen in with Bandits to see how they play this out from the bottom end of this building.
Yeah. It's a Gibby team, by the way. So they're probably no toxic. One here. Yeah, above us, above us.
Bulk. Who's crack?
Above us, Gibby.
Buggy. Okay. I have Bubba ready. Fucking farm kills now.
Gibby caustic.
Down in.
Yeah, Gibby caustic, they shouldn't play on it.
Car left, they're chilling.
It's about.
Steam in the ditch here, getting drilled.
Yeah.
It's fine. I have one Gibby.
Flying.
Look.
North.
One is too low as fuck.
Yeah, they just landed.
They're getting like 3 men picked up from top or something.
Yeah.
The only way we die, really.
They might send this, by the way. I think there's 2 knocks on that.
Nice shots with the Sentinel there. As we saw in the kill feed, there was a knock onto Aurora. Like you mentioned, it was a little bit of a more difficult rotate in for them. ECLIPSE is not 100% focusing on Aurora, as they are also dealing with people coming through Jurassic, but BANDITS doing a good job holding that low ground, knowing that there are quite a few teams in that general vicinity. You were talking about it when we were listening as well, Vicky. No one's going to drop down just yet because they don't want to risk that third party. So we'll have to see how long BANDITS can continue to hold that space. Meanwhile, Mamma Mia has moved in and is finally in this engagement with Colonel Node. And we'll have to see if they're going to be able to survive, but they are down to just one. Black Venom is going to be trying to survive, but it's not going to be doable. Not only was the height advantage not in his favor, but it was just sheer numbers. And in the end, Colonel Node now own that space and will get a little bit more loot to show for it.
So unfortunate too, like that Wraith 4 working against them as well, but it's the non-stop fighting here from Jurassic side. You were talking about it, NOVO versus Potassium. As Slab slides in, and it's an easy KP pickup, finding that finishing blow onto ASCII. Potassium do get eliminated. 13 squads left. NOVO are isolated in Jurassic at the moment. They could hear the fight that's happening right here between UAV. Arctic is the last to fall, but it gets finished just as quickly. Can they get the res and the reset before NOVO now pop in? They hear the res. They said, all right, we're too late. It's time to back away. They have the ults as well, so they're going to be able to get those ultimates online just as quickly, because eventually they will have to wrap through the South Jurassic gate where ECLIPSE is going to be waiting for them.
Yeah, Aurora tried to make a little bit of a further push in. They ended up being punished for it. They are now out. We're down to 12 squads left in the lobby as we get a look now on this rotation like you were talking about coming out of NOVO. They're making their way through. Will ECLIPSE spot them out as they're both hanging out here at this gate? The answer is yes. So we'll have to see how this fight goes. Who's going to be coming out on top here to claim the southern side of this ring?
Side note, we did see Aurora go down in the feed, and this is what we were talking about before. So our team that popped off for game number 2 out in 15th. Now NOVO looking ahead and just keeping in mind that VP are winners of game number 1, who were the first to fall in game number 2, are still alive, and they called out this zone perfectly because we saw a zone just like this just the other week. Beautiful drill right here, pressuring out the team from the low ground. NOVO looking to make a move because the zone is closing at their backs. ECLIPSE stuck behind a rock. BANDITS looking at them, but the collapse by making you great again, and BANDITS may be the saving grace here.
You know, I actually like the plays by both of these teams. I like ECLIPSE backing off, not trying to push it too hard, but I like the aggression that we're seeing out of NOVO. They trade here, 2 knocks. It's now Slab trying to move in and see if they can maybe follow up on this fight. You see Catch down there with barely any health. ECLIPSE is finally eliminated as NOVO is still able to survive. But like you mentioned, BANDITS in the area, making you great again in the area. And now HM moving in to see if they can third party.
They want to scoop up this KP when they're another team that's been in the side of the zone from the very beginning, and when Frick's getting slowed down, there's only so much you could do. NOVO, they get eliminated, make EU great again, have been picking up all sorts of KP throughout the course of these last 3 games. Bombardments, bubbles for all. You'll think we're at the bubble party here with the way that Khan is also able to pick up some KP with a triple take. A little spicy ultimate accelerant is necessary when Unlucky's on the Newcastle. They want to get another slam down here once they're forced to rotate into that next spot. You can even see how they've pinged their rotate because they know that there is another team waiting for them, being VP in that DBZ building, unless VP can move up closer to the gravity cannon. 3 men get eliminated next, and it's a bloodbath. Making you still looking at BANDITS, while Colonel are in their own house looking at ForFun, Alliance, Stay Healthy, and Pixel.
And you want to know who's just vibing this whole time, Vicky?
VP.
VP. They're just vibing, waiting for all of this chaos on the western side, on the southern side to resolve itself, because VP has not only multiple buildings with literally no one on that side of the circle, but they are also on the slightly slower side of the zone. They're closer to where that final ring's going to be. They can literally hang out and wait for all of these teams to cannibalize each other and then strike to see if they can get this win. This should be interesting to see how VP decides to play this out. We get a nice little view here of where they are compared to everybody else in the circle. They clearly have information on some of these teams as well, as they do a little bit of poke damage, but we're starting to see the teams taking to the skies, looking for the next spot to hold. BANDITS are landing right next to VP. They're going to use this rock plus the bubble to try and give themselves a little bit of safety, but Alliance have also moved into the general area as well.
Wait, this is great there too, because it kind of sent out light to scout ahead, and it's gonna be team after team. The skies are congested. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's landing Valkyries. It's bubble for bubble, bombardment for bombardment here, especially with the purple perk. You get not one, not two, but three of those bombardments here. Stay healthy. Are trying to stay healthy with the Newcastle res. You get the passive healing at the same time, while everybody is focused on fighting each other. Dome bubble after dome bubble, they clip henchman's wings. No more Valkyrie. No more bandits here, and it's been non-stop. VP, they literally saw the grieving happen right before their eyes, terrified. It's like the William Dafoe meme when he looks up to the sky and there's a huge shadow over his head, and now VP are down to a rat who is just trying to play their life. Here, let's see, they do have a replicator, by the way, that was in front of their face. It would be so crazy if they manage to find a spot to get a res, so we're gonna have to see, because VP may actually play for that res. Alliance in the rock over to the north side of where Stay Healthy is, and Stay Healthy are fixated in this fight with Make EU Great Again.
The fact that Stay Healthy were able to stabilize even a little bit after all of that chaos. Taskmaster is going to be the one that's trying to keep VP's hopes and dreams alive. Will he be able to do it? Able to take to this guy yet again. It buys him a moment of reprieve, but not enough. VP is finally eliminated. Stay Healthy still holding out behind this wall. The combo of those two big boys keeping them alive for so long will make EU Great Again are struggling down there in the water. It is Alliance who has completely turned these tables on their heads. They now have space in the water, plus that wall that they're playing behind, and no one's looking at them.
And you know what? I do like Bubble Express. This makes a lot of sense. Oh my goodness, gets the finishing blow. Make EU Great Again are out of this lobby. Last 3 squads left, and it's a triangle for these teams with the ring closing in behind ForFun. They're in the worst spot, honestly, because everybody is looking at them. Alliance are looking at ForFun. Stay Healthy are focusing on ForFun for right now because they have a lot more space to work with versus Alliance, who are out in the open in the middle of the water. It's just been water zones consistently on Storm Point, and now ForFun, they slam down. They're trying to make moves happen, but it's inevitable here. You got to deal with bombardments. You see the Newcastle res, but both Alliance and Stay Healthy want this free KP.
Super unfortunate for Fun Esports, as they were the kind of the meat in this sandwich, and now Stay Healthy are moving in on Alliance for the final fight. Are they going to be able to get the res or not?
No.
Stay Healthy move in, they continue getting these knocks. It's just down to a duel for Alliance with 0 health on one of them, and in the end, Stay Healthy is the one who takes home match number 2.
I'm so surprised that they lost one of Alliance right there. That was the nail in the coffin. Stay healthy. They evicted VP from the spot that they're holding from the very beginning, and despite VP getting some placement, the thing is, Glitter, when a team there moves in very early into a zone, they deny themselves KP. But here comes Stay Healthy. They wanted to take these fights. They saw the opportunity. They got the reset. They booted out VP, and they take the dub after finding the opportunity and seeing Alliance getting a knock on their side, and then fully collapsing on them.
I feel like I want to go back and watch it strictly only from Stay Healthy's POV, because they literally almost died like 3 times as soon as they moved in towards VP.
I love it. Thanks, man. That was crazy. But the Newcastle comes in clutch in that moment here, too. That's why we see a lot of these Valkyries taxing these big boys. You get the slam down, you protect yourself from the bombardment, then you get the res, you get the protection with an EMP bubble from a Gibby. Good luck trying to push that as it stuns and does some damage here with the shields onto the first person that walks into it. It's just chaos.
And look how spread out the kills were, too. 5 kills for Stay Healthy, 6 for Alliance, 6 for Fun Esports, 6 for Make You Great Again. I mean, 8 down there for Colonel Node. This was a very KP heavy match for a lot of teams across the board.
Yeah, I agree, because we had, what is it, Alliance for Fun and Make EU Great Again, who we saw them a lot in the kill feed, get 6 KP each here. So still making that gap not so big here as we take a look at the series results. Make EU Great Again, despite a team that has not won any of our last 3 games, have still been able to put points on the board thanks to not only their placement, but the KP that they've racked up.
Slaying power. I don't know how they are making it work. I would eventually love to be able to talk to them, because it's crazy, but they find themselves in a good position every single time because of it. And we still have a lot more opportunities for them to have a strong performance. Before we do that, though, that means now that match 3 is number done, we are halfway through our show, which also means it's time for our halftime show. And we have a very special guest. Ed Boy will be joining us, and we'll explain all about Ed Boy and his accomplishments when we return. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here we go. You know what time it is. It's the ALGS Top 5 Plays of the Week. I'm Tank. Let's dive into them. Kicking us off at number 5, we've got Kendall with an alternator.
Yep, 2 swing.
Everyone loves a good alternator clip. There's
Nice.
one.
One behind that bin.
Great call outs from the teammate. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Pick up another one.
Yeah, no, I can't approach.
Kendall, not done yet. Still with the alternator. Hello! What are you guys all doing in there? Crammed in there like a bunch of sardines. And Kendall, 1 HP, doesn't matter. Tap, tap, pick it up, triple kill.
I have 100 damage.
At number 4, we've got KO Ticks. Putting the crypto to work. R99 and a Hemlock. Here he goes. 1v3. Quick flip to the Hemlock. Pick up the first guy. Clean shots for number 2. Oh, it's some trouble. Pulls back. Quick reload with the R99 style on him. Triple. Team wipe. At number 3, heating it up, we've got Jordan looking like Michael Jordan on the battlefield. Team's going to go all the way down. It's just going to be him, 1v3. Kramer connects. R99, clean shots. 1 left. Here's some footsteps behind. Needs to get the reload off. Yes.
You are better.
You got that right. At number 2, about to style on him. Satoru. Do a kickflip. Oh, wait, hold on. We need to see that again. Run that back. Satoru off the top turnbuckle. What a shot. All right, number 1 things you don't want to hear from your teammates.
Help, 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 help. I missed every bullet.
Yeah, he did. Now the whole team's down in Matrix. He's got to be the one like Neo to lock this in for the squad. Wingman's coming out. Hold up. Wait a minute. Time to drop the hammer. Oh, he does. 150 knock. Oh, a second one. Unbelievable shots coming out of the Wingman. Last man standing. 1v1. He got the crack. Oh, he's trying to flee the scene, but Matrix, he's going to hunt him down like a sentinel. Knock, knock. Kicks open the door. Yes, lock it in, Dub City. He booted that door open like the Kool-Aid man. That'll wrap up your top 5. Make sure you're submitting your clips to the ALGS website under the community tab so you can be featured in a top place. If you like my stuff and you want to see more of my content, at TheTankTV at all socials. We'll be back next week with another one.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Apex Legends Global Series. It's time for our halftime show, and we are getting straight into it, okay? Because we have Ed Boy standing by, ready to hang out with us here today. And I feel like I can confidently say, when it comes to this, the first person ever, and probably the only person ever, to get to Masters on mouse and keyboard while balancing on a unicycle. This has to be one of the craziest accomplishments we have ever seen. Ed Boy, welcome, because you have to break this down for us a little bit. How did you even decide you were going to unicycle to Masters?
Yeah, I used to play video games on my unicycle in between college courses, and my roommates would watch me. And when I started playing Apex, you know, I wasn't in sports anymore, and I needed something to kind of like physically drive me. And we started kind of playing the game. I started out on controller, and I got a lot of hate from the community telling me I couldn't do it on mouse and keyboard. So I basically committed the next 1.5 years of my life learning mouse and keyboard on my unicycle to make it happen.
Wow.
Dude, this is the craziest flex ever. Do you know how many players out here like can't even do it sitting down at their set? Like, I thought I was a little weird because I like stand up and play, and that's just the way like I could focus. And I play all my games grinding, standing for hours a day. You're out here on a unicycle, like hitting Masters on mouse and keyboard, moving around at the same. I mean, do you have any words of advice for the players who struggle to even hit Masters when they're sitting down and comfortably trying to grind out the game?
people have this interesting badge of honor to do it solo queue, and if you could do that, you're an absolute GOAT. You got to make friends. I know we're all at home and we are alone. You got to put yourself out there, and even if they're carrying you, you need friends, man. That's all I got to say. Like, I've had so much help along the way. It definitely didn't happen by myself. That's what I would say.
There's a place near the Sydney Opera House in Australia called Circular Quay, and you often see a lot of buskers there, right? They're often on unicycles. They'll be like, they'll be juggling, flame throwing. And have you thought about taking the show outside and, asking for donations? Maybe we can step it up one level of difficulty by, doing it outside on like a Wi-Fi router or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely certain content that is coming IRL like that.
Okay.
Thankfully, I am. This is something I do on the side, and I'm employed, so I'm not that strapped for cash yet. But who knows? Like, the economy could shift at any time, and maybe you'll see me out there with a can, looking for coins. Who knows?
I think that might be the next move. Now, is this too much to ask? Are you prepared to get on the unicycle and demonstrate?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, for anybody, because I mean, you guys can imagine my comment section is filled with fake, pre-recorded, AI, you name it. So yes, of course, I'm ready.
We're watching some of your clips right now, and this is crazy. I mean, we even got to see like a little sneak peek of you doing 1v1s with one of our content creators that plays Apex standing up, or not standing up, rather doing a handstand on another level.
Yes.
I mean, this is incredible. Like, the fact that you're able to get through with this, you land your senti shots while, by the way, you're on a unicycle. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. And now being able to talk to us while you're also on a unicycle, it's like, everybody, welcome to the circus. I love this.
Yeah, big shout out to my man Robbie Works Out. That's the guy who plays in a handstand. Him and I play duos every once in a while.
Wow.
So shout out to him. So this is my setup. I'll actually show you guys how this started and how we created this. My wife, who has to like listen to me scream while I'm trying to clutch while she's in an actual meeting for work. That's a job in itself. So when I first started doing this, I had a belt and I super glued my mouse and keyboard setup. If you could see the glue, and that's how I played mouse and keyboard, with like a belt strapped to my body. But as you can imagine, the shoulder, I guess you can't, right? And then I switched to like one of these stands, but my mouse sensitivity on like a 1600 DPI was like 3. So in order to actually be consistent and lower my sensitivity, I had to build this. And this probably weighs like 20-25 pounds.
Oh my God.
What?
But yeah, so I'll show you here. My cord management is horrible. Just, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that.
You already have a crazy setup, man.
Nobody's looking at that.
Yeah,
no one's focusing.
So how long have you been riding a unicycle in order to feel comfortable doing this?
I've been unicycling for like, I'm basically an oak, okay? I've been riding a unicycle for like 17 years.
No way.
Yeah. I don't know if you can tell from the hairline, but I am a little bit older than some of the Apex players. But yeah, so like when you ride a unicycle, when you typically are riding, you balance with like your upper body and your arms. And so when I play it on controller, I could balance with my arm. So when I switched to mouse and keyboard, I had to learn how to balance without my upper body and my arms. And so what happens is it's really hard for me to see the targets because I'm 3 to 6 feet away. So I play out of 104 FOV. And sometimes when I get tired, my arm mobility gets really difficult. And so aiming can become difficult sometimes.
And what drove you to want to achieve this?
I've always been an athlete. So I was an MMA fighter. I was a college wrestler.
Okay.
And I've always been super into like long distance sports. So I would unicycle marathons and stuff like that. There's a massive unicycle community. And it's like So I had a post where I was like, once I hit Masters, it was such a big achievement that I was going for a long time that I was like super emotional. So I was like crying in one of my videos. And you can imagine, I was getting talked like a lot of smack online for, you know, being happy about the accomplishment. But basically, I just kind of told everybody, you know, like the harder that things are and like the more difficult that of things you try to accomplish, your life just gets better. You know, if like you avoid things that are difficult, it's, you know, like you've got to like choose your heart, basically. I'm sure you've heard that.
100%. I mean, that not only does that apply to Apex, but that is just some good life advice for everybody hanging out with us here today. I hate to say goodbye because I'm sure we could ask you a million questions.
Sure.
But we do have to say goodbye. Before we do that, do you have any final shout outs that you want to do? Let people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can find me, Edboy Gaming, on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I do a lot of challenges. I would love to thank everybody who helped me along the way, person by person, but I would probably forget somebody. So you guys know who you are. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, Edboy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on the accomplishment. I'm sure Pred is next. Go ahead. One more thing.
We had a hoverboard in hard. Are we going to get a unicycle in Wild? On it. All right. Come on.
Good question. Good question. All right. Thank you so much, Edboy, for chatting. It's been awesome getting to learn about you and your journey. I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon. And best of luck in all of your matches as we take a look at where our series results stand here for other regions. Okay. And we have to talk about this because, Genome, we're talking about APAC North. Quick recap here. Zeta Division absolutely destroyed everyone.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure which one is harder, honestly, getting 103 points, breaking the hundo mark, or getting to Masters on a unicycle. Bit of a toss-up, if you ask me. But Zeta Division, obviously this is a retooled roster here. UKF has been making some roster changes over the last couple of years, and it doesn't seem to matter who he teams up with. They're just going nuts regardless. And as you can see, Mikey managed to break 2 world records that Zuni had set just the week before. Crazy. He does still have the 15 kill world record, so he can, you know, polish that one for a little while longer. But Mikey did overtake him in damage and damage differential.
Yeah, that was just an insane day for Zeta, and we get to take a look at a little bit of fun that Zeta did as well, because this is definitely how official training works, Vicky. I mean, this is how you get better at Apex.
Yeah, this is how you build up your synergy, right? Instead of going through roster changes, you just got to really be friends with the boys. You got to play Twister out here, and this looks like the best forms of scrims that I think I've ever seen. That's Yuka. Yuka, help me out.
If this is the new Castle Res, that's what this is, you know?
I mean, they talk about like holding hands when you're playing like closely together as a team. Like, these guys are practicing in IRL.
You can see they're working on their arm muscles. They're getting their body ready for some long days of ALGS. And as I say that, Yuka even tweets about the fact that after the Twister game, he's had muscle soreness for multiple days straight, Gino.
Which muscle? That's my only question.
All of them. That was a full body workout for Yuka. I mean, what a nice little update there from some of our other regions. That's fun and nice insight for Zeta Division. But guys, we got to keep things moving. Match number 4 is ready to go. So Vicky, Gino, let's get back into the action.
Thank you so much, Glitter. I love the Apex scene, Gino. We got, you know, people doing to masters on a unicycle, playing ranked while playing as they're doing a handstand. We got just so many of these players playing Twister now just to warm up. You can see it all over Yuka's face here. Records must be broken, and unfortunately for Zuni, he couldn't hold it off for very long, but it also highlights the type of level of competition that we have between so many regions within the ALGS, but it also highlights the consistency that we may see as we transition into a different map, moving away from Stormpoint and onto E-District.
As you can see, only 4 teams took this as their first pick in the POI. Almost everybody prioritizing Stormpoint. So obviously, if you have done that, you might be finding it a little bit harder to pick up your points and make up any kind of gap that's opened up right now. You know, talking about UAV or HVC sitting down there on 0 points at the moment. NOVO only on 9. Plenty of teams need to make it up in these last 3 games and try and catch the likes of Mega. Nasky, the troll who got banned from scrims, is currently leading the lobby.
Someone gotta call hideouts. You can't do that out here. Here's Nasky having way too much fun, but it works out for them, Genome, especially when they've been getting a lot of KP. Even if they haven't found themselves in that first place spot, they're still finding themselves within that top, 5 teams or so, consistently on top of picking up KP. And when it pulls over to Nasky and squad, making you great again, they're gonna be very happy. Hopefully, they'll have a ring console to get that information, because we know that where Bandits is over by Stadium, they're gonna have that ring console information with the evac tower that gets deployed right afterwards, on top of having a survey beacon too.
Yeah, and obviously the POI therein has just scraps of loot, right? You almost always want to be trying to find some more elsewhere. So if everyone's coming straight to you, like, you know, you're probably going to be on white, you're going to have like a single P20 and, you know, no sight, trying to chip away at people from 100 meters. It's going to be rough for these guys, because obviously they're used to playing a style where they come in a little bit later, more well-armed, and then could bully some people out.
And it's incredibly important to highlight, too, by the way, that some of these teams that are on the Wraith, the counterpart to the Wraith rotations is actually the Mad Maggie. So we have the most picked legend in this lobby being Mad Maggie, with 13 teams rocking Mad Maggie to help them try to push in for these much more aggressive playstyles with the Wrecking Ball, versus Wraith, who has only 10 Wraiths in this lobby. So that means that Wraith will be safe for these rotational legends into our last game.
I mean, if you want to talk about legends here, Vicky, we've got another Mirage. What is going on? It's not even the same team. It's awkward this time. It's Awakened this time, sorry. So last
it's a little
game,
awkward, though, with the Mirage.
It is. I mean, Aurora didn't make it work last game, and like I sort of get the vision for it, right? It's like we can have our ring console character and our survey beacon character all in the same one. But here we go. Just trying to settle up here with catwalls coming out, having to use that very early to try and grab the reset here, and we've got a trade happening over near Blossom Drive between Havoc and the Vicious.
I hate fighting up here on this bridge, too. It's just so easy to get contested by teams who take their own jump towers, but it's down to 2 from Vicious. Oh, he tried to slide over the thermite. He gets tick damage. You have to be careful with the drill, but McGlutch having an RE with no mag, he still finds a knock, and Havoc Legends are out and eliminated. Once again, as a duo here, too. Could have come in clutch in trying to wrap up a round after trying to find themselves that knock in that 2v2, but you already noticed, I talked about the 3P, and guess who's going to capitalize? It's going to be Alliance, and Alliance, even though they put down the Seer ult, they're actually right outside the range, so they do not get that information as effect. At the very least, wraps up on the opposite end to find Bubblegum.
With that all-important power booster amp, as you can see there on the Wraith. Takis playing the Seer. And it's always interesting now, Vicky, because you can no longer tell who the IGL is just by what legend they're playing. You know, support players who can play a range of characters and move their team around have become all the more useful, as Awakened here are now looking at NOVO Esports, and 3 men are about to become a 3rd party.
Oh no, no longer 3 men, maybe like a 2 duo men now, as they're gonna try to run for their lives. K-Swinny following up. I just have to pinpoint that Missy has been the opener for this team, is on fire today, as the Mad Maggie, the Warden, as I like to call her, the harassment. Missy's covering 2 different angles at the same time, and K-Swinny is looking to clean up whatever is left at his feet. Babylon's is going to be the next victim here, but now having to back away, getting contested from the high ground by the other player on the other side. Phoenix tries to close in the gap. Is that going to be our Renaissance man that we've seen from Mirage here, getting some more extra information? He sends out the clone, and just with the decoy up ahead, he could also try to see if they get into into any trouble, he could go in for a clutch res while he stays invisible. They clean up that KP right at their feet after K-Swinny got that knock onto Babylons. And now Bandits, on the other side, though, is also finding themselves in a fight, Light being left one.
Yeah, those reses can actually be super impactful late game. The very few times we have actually seen a Mirage, make it into an ALGS end game, if you manage to just sort of divert the opposition's attention, you can actually get those reses off. But will they get there? That still remains to be seen. Aurora didn't manage it last game, but we are getting somehow a second go at this.
Look at this rollouts here, too. I mean, where are you going to run to on top of the spikes? You're left one henchman. Great option coverage here with those piercing spikes. Being one of the few teams on the Catalyst, too, is important to note as they send up the wall. Kind of still low, though, and doesn't want the reset to happen. Great aggression coming in from Kind of to clean up another player. 19 squads left here, and Kind of's going to be able to reset.
Still plenty of teams in the area around Galleria. UAV have been completely split up. Awaken just hitting the evac now as Bandits are the ones to seemingly pick up the pieces underneath Galleria. There we go. The evac coming in from Awaken. And there it is. The last member of UAV is taken down, and Awaken can now continue their rotation south towards probably somewhere like DSK, who is sitting in Stadium right now. As you can see, the zone very much pulling down towards the north of Humboldt Labs, and Make EU Great Again sitting very much center zone.
Oh, I like these zones too, because sometimes a lot of teams try to bank if they don't get like a ring console on being on the southern side more than anything, but for it to pull more so towards the north, aside from those bridges, you could kind of coexist around the walls, but you just have to make sure that your backs are cleared, and you could already see VP holding on to that northern side of the zone after they got their ring console scan. You mentioned DSK, who have that information coming out of Stadium where there's that survey beacon ring console, and with the survey beacon, they note that there's 3 other teams that could possibly rotate from the north side of their zone, so they want to make sure that their backs are cleared, or they're gonna have to worry about a situation like this playing out. Nasky losing out on his shield, looking to see if they can try to get a reset, because it's Black Venom who does find that knockout to Nate.
Going back to some of those fights outside here. Kind of takes a little bit too much damage, and man, those Maggie drills always seem to turn up at the worst times, don't they? Just when you think you'll be able to get the bat off, they're going to take you down. You have to reset it and go again. Bamboozled is Light. You're not that used to having to do this on match days, maybe in ranked.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Bamboozled again. He's got to be one of them here. And now Light gets being forced to pop a shield bat out of the fight temporarily, missing some of these RE45 shots attention, but it's cool because he's got the gold energy mag, trying to navigate away and how they try to oppress this because they leave Phoenix at 1. K-Swinny trying to back him up. Natsuki gets taken out. Light follows up. Missy popping up, and Awaken get eliminated here. Bandits on fire with the way that they were able to actually contest them in a fight like this, and isolated too with a quick cleanup. DSK will be waiting for them eventually, while VP still holding on to this north side. The Vicious, being one of our squads here on the southern side of where the zone is pulling, are looking at ForFun with Alliance waiting about.
Yep, Wraith portals everywhere without an altar in the lobby. It's going to change how E-District plays out a little bit here. And the Vicious there, very much on the south side of this. They're contending with Alliance on their north, who are also trying to, I think they're trying to work out whether they should push north or south, but the zone, next zone reveal will probably make that decision for them, as well as ECLIPSE and ForFun also trying to hold them out on the outskirts of Humboldt Labs.
They're going to be able to take at least on top of the evac. It's not going to get destroyed. Only one player shooting at that evac, forces them to rotate around. Gets nice when you get a babysat by a Valkyrie who could take on to that skyward dive way further than an evac, and guess what? You can't really rely on that when she's banned. And now Chaotic, McClutch, and Hoodie have been able to slam down that Newcastle barrier just to reset, but this also works into some of those walls that I was mentioning before when it comes to trying to coexist with other teams.
Do they play nice, or are they going to have to, maybe make a complaint about the neighbors to the landlords here? Going back towards Stadium, we do eventually get that fight between DSK and Bandits, but the fight's going to be over the eventual position of this Mythic bin. Henchman might be able to get the wall off. They might even want to push with how much damage they got onto him right there.
A henchman has just been pressured out so far in this entire game. It's unfortunate, and with kind of being left one, they don't want to put this at risk. Light now, looking to the left side, is going to be able to harass this player from the other side of the zone. Even playing on the other side of the Watson fence. This is smart. G-Dolphin was one, but the PK shots kind of slides in, and with the clutch, takes out DSK. Kinda waking up on E-District on the Seer, by the way, and DSK do get eliminated. They clear that side of the zone, and they get the Mythic bin, but for how long before they have to start rotating in?
God, if you hit those focus of attentions at just the right time, you really can make such a difference. Let's see what Hackers can do on the Seer over here as we get a listen in with Alliance.
It's just a bit. We can peek the base. Yeah.
I think it seems a far, by the way. Someone maybe backside bridge.
Come on, one guy building. Wait, keep shooting at building. Come on, come. Yeah. Kostik's on roof. Yeah. Oh, fuck. He went back. I don't want to force anything. I'm just shooting. I cracked them, but I'll come back. The team on the bottom needs to force them first. Yeah, just make sure. They're coming bridge, K-bridge. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, here.
I'm getting...
You crack one guy drop below here.
Just get back.
Weak below here. He died, I think. Yes, you died, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I can put him, maybe. 50 on him. One guy high ground still.
Yeah, both things are high.
Yeah, both on top here.
Try to get the fin below. I got the fin. Do it now.
Okay, I got a bat. Make it close. Can you skin him? I can walk up. He's close. King him. They're heading. He's closer. Make it walk. Let's see the hold. Or catwalk.
The catwalk down.
Play offside. Yeah, quick to make it. I'm playing your side. Up you. Q net. Yeah, just quick it. I'm nading it one time.
I'm coming out, guys. I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Remember, it's just do it.
Wait, right side. Careful, right side. I'm going back. Careful, right side. We're gonna pinch. Yeah. We have the corners unlucky.
Yeah. Make it done. Crack it close. Crack it.
Yeah, low guard. Go to the corner. Back up.
Yeah, I can't. No. Last one. Dead.
Nice. Get a new team though. Yeah, on bridge. 50.
Yeah. I'm jetting me.
Bridge is low.
Yeah.
I need to back it.
Oh, he's one speed.
Look at bridge. Keep left. Yeah, careful.
He's literally a bullet. Fuck, man. I can't you.
I'm coming late.
That's all, Hackers.
Yeah, I'm peeking. One guy far right, height.
Yeah.
Fuse.
One teammate is far. It's only too close.
Sheesh! Oh my goodness, those wingman shots. Unlucky coming out. Aku following up. Hockeys with the comms. They sound so locked in right now, Genome. I love what I'm hearing from Alliance. They're trying to fully set Potassium. Almost get the one clip off the R9. Misses these crucial shots, but it's fine. They have to be careful, though, because they've taken a lot of damage, and Unlucky, recognizing this, wants to take this slow. He's going to pop the shield back for now. ASCII and Sweepy have the high ground, and they have the fence line, but a huge nade from Hockeys sets up ASCII to now hold on to a medkit and a shield back if he has one, and they've lost out on their third. A full dirty from Unlucky as he follows up. He can't let the free climb up come in, but it actually gets stolen, by the way. Presses from VP in the distance actually yeets that.
Yeah, talking about Wingman, that one from downtown actually manages to grab a KP over towards VP there. And look, the fact that Alliance are even in a position to take this fight after how quickly they won the last one is just a testament to how good they are. And you can see them just playing perfectly with the zone as it closed in to grab that. The Vicious will go down here.
He didn't see the rat! He didn't see the rat!
No!
He didn't see the rat. I saw him and I was like, wait, does he act? I thought he was gonna swing him and like try to bait to make it look like he did it because he was hiding so close behind the pillbox, but no! The rat actually came in to grief him. But okay, they still have the rate that's alive here. Mamma Mia looking to get a full reset. That was dirty, and now HM here with 13 squads left have found themselves a home, and they built it up with these Watson fences, Newcastle Barrier on one side. They hear the fighting at their feet. Aurora also trying to coexist on this real estate here, and with Light getting taken out from Elite, it's going to be difficult. Stay healthy, get eliminated eventually. And now HM holding onto the high ground, looking down at all the victims at their feet who do want to get involved but do not want to overextend.
So not really the baby comp here, but we do have Newcastle coming in. Gibraltar seems to be falling behind a little bit while Maggie is still in the lobby. Also falling, Colonel Node. The zone has been revealed and everyone on the south side is now going to be desperate to make their way up towards where Novo Esports is. There are now 4, maybe even 5 teams around this building that HM are sitting in right now. You can see every time they peek anywhere, another team is there to greet them, and it's going to be so hard making their way out of this building.
And the E-District buildings, too, have so many open angles with the windows, especially the windows that you could break to, that it just makes you a little worried out here. But Make EU Great Again, who have had no issue getting the KP that they need, have been fragging out all day. Nasky and company have basically taken each and every one of these fights like they're looking to ape a lot of these teams, and that's the confidence that you need. HM now up on the high ground do get that finishing blow onto Henchman. No with the triple take and RE45, but it's a little bit of revenge. Billy swings in, finds Cody here from the other side as Bandits do get eliminated. 9 squads left in a zone like this, and only 1 team is in that next final zone.
Yeah, I mean, that's only the first kill that HM managed to pick up. The second now, actually. They've been pumping out the damage, but finally, with a little help from the other teams around them, it's just down to them and Aurora. A second ago, this place was teeming with ALGS players, but now NONO tries to make the portal here to go towards zone. He'll be met by Nasky and Make EU Great Again, as well as ECLIPSE when he gets there. Is the portal safe? Can his team take it? It doesn't look like it. He's down already.
I love how we're seeing so much of the Wingman. Wingman's never gone anywhere, it looks like here, but Kiner has gone down, and Nate is just dancing around off the portal and finding 2 players right at his feet. That is so unlucky after going into the phase. Nasky says for free, gets to pick up another KP right there and gets a shield swap as well. But looking at the action says, all right, well, that's none of my business. I'm just going to try to play low instead, because Aurora are also trying to stay alive. They lost out on effect originally. Oiran looking to the left side, and even with some of these RE45 shots, he still had blue. Hierarchus still alive. He's got an RE himself, but he sees one player, the Watson, playing off of the Gen and the clutch. All these teams are collapsing. 4 squads left. And remember, Novo, who was the only team in that next zone, are looking at these. All these teams collapsing into one another. The 2 teams, VP and ECLIPSE, ForFun now on the back end side, and they're looking to 4P.
Yep, 3 teams on the bridge with Novo Esports looking at all of them, just licking their lips, waiting for the chance to come here and clean it up. If they can find a nice third party, they should win this game. 3 teams left alive now. Virtus Pro really want to be able to take out ECLIPSE below them, but they know as soon as they do, they're probably going to be opening themselves up to angles with Novo across from them. All teams have a few kills to their names, hoping that this gash pushes them out of position and avoids having to, full send here.
The fact that VP is also trying to make a move and sending 1 player out to be behind Novo is big. They're thinking 10 steps ahead, as Prestis, being on the Mad Maggie, going to be able to wrap up to look at Novo. VP playing this with confidence while ECLIPSE are forced to play off the low ground. Difference is, Taskmaster being on the Pathfinder, no, your eyes do not deceive you. That is a Pathfinder on the screen. We've been seeing a little bit more Pathy little by little, and there was 2 Pathfinders in this entire lobby, and VP were one of them. Slab from Novo trying to take a different off angle. They need to prevent VP from walking up for free here.
Oh, they do. Okay, now just down to VP and Novo. Will we get a Pathfinder dub here? It's been banned in scrims in EU before. I don't think it's been banned in game days yet, but here we go. Virtus Pro are trying to move up even further. 2nd place already, but they are just having such a good day so far.
Oh, this is the difference, too, between not having a seer. They swing in, the grapple's not enough into the open line of sight of Slap, and this is all for Novo to take for game number 4.
Solid dub there, and unfortunately for VP, they just don't get enough points to overtake Mega. If they got the dub, they would have, but unfortunately, they still sit 2 points behind. Novo Esports, of course, with I'd say Slab is probably the best known out of these 3. He's been on some pretty heavy-hitting teams before, and unfortunately struggled a little bit now, trying to bring this roster back up to standard and hopefully make LAN as well.
It's impressive to see how they were able to rotate into a ring like that when they land in Resort. Like, that is pretty far on E District, literally that northwestern side, and finding themselves in a spot like that, surviving through it. And I also have to highlight, like, Adams, too, on the Catalyst. We didn't really see too many cats. We had some in the lobby, but on the Catalyst, those walls, they came in clutch. It helps for a reset. Then you have the Mad Maggie in place, too, together with the Seer for information. It's just a great concoction of a resolution for this team to make do with what they have and to get this done.
Yeah, it's interesting the teams that go for Catalyst versus something like Watts' versus something like the Caustic as well, but it often helps out, especially in those late game situations where you need the micro rotations, and you can sometimes even just force another two teams to fight each other just by virtue of walling them off and putting them in your own little box.
And now you won't have Mad Maggie to play with going into this Game 5, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out here, Gino. But right now, Novo also get to skyrocket themselves in the overall standings because they were like on the later half, I believe, of this lobby. And with that win, they put themselves in the top 7.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Make EU Great Again are still at the top, I just know the rest of the lobby is going to be losing their mind, Vicky. The fact that this team that everyone says, why are you ruining our practice? And they show up on game day and say, we don't need to practice. We're good enough already.
Ooh, I mean, now we get to see Make EU Great Again not only make that statement, Genome, but also showcase that they do not need to just get these dubs because they're doing it fine when it comes to getting KP in their pocket. You got to talk about that consistency too, because we kind of have already highlighted this team to be a team that kind of plays with no risk, which is insane when it comes to a competitive setting, right? And how different it is between what you would experience in a high elo rank lobbies versus comp, where we have a lot of pros talk about the differences between these two and how these players play, and then Make EU Great Again is like aping everybody like they're playing a whole different game. Welcome back, Glitter.
Thank you. And I'm glad we're talking about Make EU Great Again because we mentioned it throughout the day so far, and they've done it in previous play days as well, where they are just absolutely slaying out. They are going for KP and making it work for them, and we get to see what the result of that is now as we take a little bit of an early look at our kill leaderboard, because we've got Nate at the tippy top of this. And honestly, it's not surprising that this is how they're playing because they've been doing it. I think I'm mostly surprised, Gino, by how effective it's been for them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's been surprising me the most is how many end games they've been making, right? Yeah. We're in a place right now in ALGS where edge teams are like rarer than ever. It's harder than ever for edge teams to succeed, teams who really just want to take it, you know, with KP only. And the fact that they've actually got so many placement points and made so many end games so far is almost just like a bit of an anomaly. We'd only expect that from the absolute best of the best, and I don't think there's a lot of people who would have put Make EU Great Again in that category recently.
Which I love. Okay, we especially at the start of the split, we were talking about like which team is going to be stepping up in this region to become one of the heavy hitters. You know, we already knew Alliance and Aurora were going to be people we were going to be talking about, but the fact that we get Nasky, Kiner, and Nate up here, Make EU Great Again, showing us what they're bringing to the table, and you can see that it's just kind of improved. They've gotten better as the split has gone on. Vicky, I mean, look at match day 5 even, 35 kills, 49 points. Like they have really focused in on that.
Yeah, that is insane. Like the fact that you have such a slow startup, right? And you're like, yeah, let's just play the way we want to play and have fun with it is a very good mindset to have when you don't have that much pressure. We were talking about nerves earlier on in the broadcast, Glitter, and it's rare when you have some players that have been within Pro League for so long kind of feel that out, right? But it also highlights just how much they care. And then you have Making You Great Again, just fragging out, making it work out in the last Pro League day that they competed in, and now doing it again and replicating that with that consistency this time around.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about consistency, I'm going to give a shout out to VP as well, because they fell off in match number 2 with, you know, the early 20th place exit, but that is the anomaly of the entire day. They're still after that finding themselves, obviously starting off the day with a win, but then still top 5 outside of that one match every single time. So they were a team we wanted to look at coming in because obviously they're the top of the overall standings right now. Were they able to continue replicating that type of a success? And it seems like they are right now. They've managed to do that regardless of map, regardless of group matchup, regardless of, you know, where they are in the split. And Genome, I feel like it's a team that everyone in this region definitely needs to be watching out for, especially when we look towards regional finals, split one playoffs.
Yeah. And I mean, I talked earlier in that game too about how they were making these risky plays, but they were doing it early in the game, right? Gambling on getting Godspot or something similar very early on. And a lot of teams are just not willing to do that. They don't want to take the risk, but think about it like this. Let's say it works out 50% of the time. That means 50% of the time, you're pulling out these 10, 15 plus point games because you're getting such a good spot and getting KP. It doesn't matter if it only works every second game. You are still racking up enough points to get a very high placement for the day.
Yeah, it's just been a very impressive showing for them right now across the entire split, but in general, just today, continuing with that success. For now, Vicky, you've done a great job so far. We're going to say goodbye to you, give you a little bit of a break. I'm stealing Genome because we're going to prepare to dive into match number 5 and see who's going to be taking home the dub this time. We've had all new winners every single one of our matches so far. Do we get a repeat today, Genome? Because that's been tough.
I kind of hope so. Yeah, I mean, the way VP are playing, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like they've sort of got that new org buff. You know, sometimes like a team will get picked up and they're like, yeah, we got to prove it. Got to prove it to the new owners and, you know, make them feel like it was worthwhile. So I would be surprised if we saw another one from them, honestly.
And I wouldn't be mad about that either because at this point, they deserve it with the way that they have been playing. And if they can continue to even keep themselves in the top 5 based off of where they currently are in the overall, they're already doing better in this series than the last time B versus C faced off, and they had 3rd the last time B and C faced off. So that's already difficult to do.
Yeah, well, chasing that consistency, I guess. But yeah, with only the last 2 maps remaining, you know, time is now starting to tick away from some of these teams. Oh man, I guess, look, maybe we should stop talking about UAV at this point. We were saying how they were just sitting outside that qualification for regional finals. Obviously, the top 20, you would need to do that, and a 19th today is not going to help them make that push.
Yeah, you know, I think that's right now is the time when that conversation starts, right? When we start looking at which teams are super close to the bubble, which ones are potentially within striking distance if they have like an insane play day, and which ones are just kind of fighting to stay alive in Pro League in general. And I think that it starts to get tough because there is definitely a bit of a gap when we're talking about the overall standings as far as points. And I think that at this point it's about staying above the cutoff line for some of the squads like the UAVs.
Yeah, they really want to be doing that. You always just want to give yourself that last chance. You never know what can happen, right? Like, it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. We've had multiple teams now, you know, clinch a match point victory on regional finals day and manage to book their ticket to a LAN, right? It's a weird way to get an airplane ticket in your hands, but it has happened before.
You got to do what you got to do, okay? If that's what it boils down to and you can make it happen, you gotta do it, as we are getting ourselves prepared to dive into match number 5. And one of the other big things that we will see now that we've gotten through that was that Maggie was banned. You can see that down there on the maps as well. We won't be seeing that absolute destruction from the Wrecking Ball, which was playing a big factor in a lot of our fights.
It is. And now we should see an uptick in Gibby, right? She is the big counter to the big man. And without that drill to just destroy you while you're trying to heal inside, or frankly, just, you know, they often will just hold that ultimate until they see a bubble. Their eyes light up. They just like pop out of your head when that happens, because you know they're in trouble. You know they've got no other defense, and you're just ready to
to reap some KP as soon as you get that interaction. So that's why I think we only had one Gibraltar in the previous match, and it is certainly going to pick up as we go into match 5. I think I can already see 10.
I mean, I'm not mad about it, but I am looking at the rest of the legends here, Genome, and I'm specifically looking at VP, and they have brought a Pathfinder to the fight.
I mean, it's interesting how we keep swapping around, right? Because like, I mean, you know, now Mirage has disappeared all of a sudden. Yeah, we got 2 Pathfinders. Was it DSK that was playing it last time, or was it EC? Either way, we're up to 2. The Pathfinders are multiplying slightly. And it's also interesting that, you know, teams will even go with the Caustic versus the Watson. I honestly like to think it means that we have just a lot of viable legends right now in Apex Legends, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about the meta is just how many legends we do see. We're not locked into too much of a standard 3. Obviously, the legend bans definitely help that out a lot, because otherwise I think, you know, Alter would still be in the discussion if that were not the case.
Oh, yeah.
But it does go to just show how deep the legend pool now goes currently with the way that everything has been balanced, as we get an opportunity to take a look at where the zone's going to be going, who this favors, who has the information to know where this is going to be going, and VP looking pretty comfy.
Yep, they're making their way up there. We had actually last time they in BVC when we were playing on E District, we had a couple of northern zones. Virtus Pro did pretty well in them. They like finding their spot in the little building up there, just bunkering up with the Caustic, which of course they still have this time. But down here, Street Market, we've got Stay Healthy versus Colonel Node. 2 teams we haven't seen that much from today. Node sitting in 11th right now, and Stay Healthy, they're in 8th of 26.
You can see that Colonel Node are kind of like spread out and wrapped around Stay Healthy, trying to see if they can maybe get an early game pick here, get some early KP, and AJ's definitely taken some damage from a lot of this harassment. It does force the bubble as well. Fuse will be potentially useful here for this squad to see if maybe a little bit more ticks can come through. I start to see them, but he actually gets traded in the process. BZ's down.
Kind of feels a lot like me. A lot of potential, but it's all wasted, unfortunately.
Oh my god. No. Maybe. No, I'm not gonna let you say that. Meanwhile, Colonel Node are just gonna be cleaning this up. Kuro's down to 1 health as he's trying to stay alive.
Oh!
Are you able to turn this around on his head? Is he gonna be able to survive this fight, Genome?
I mean, is the other guy, does he have bullets? Like, where is the return fire? I am so confused right now. I mean, I'm thinking of like a famous World's Edge moment between, who was it, Yuki and Hal, you know, where someone was out of bullets. And I'm like, I don't want to make the mistake of assuming that he could have shot back there when perhaps he couldn't have, but that was bizarre to see.
We might have to reassess what happened there in that fight, because we're jumping straight into another one. We've got Bandits here down to a duo. Henchman trying to put in some work with that alternator, backing off just a little bit here to get himself a little bit of space, as they are down to a duo now, maybe opting to play this a little bit safer. Light also dipsetting could give them an opportunity to reset here as they decide that it is not worth this engagement.
Potential to back off there. Obviously, with only the 2 members left alive, they probably don't want to be taking the 3v2. I mean, the purple armor's nice, but I'm not sure that is a fight worth taking right now. Unlike the first strike, that was an insane moment here from Colonel Node. I mean, we're just gonna have to go back and get the other POV here, I guess, because like. Yeah, was he jumping with the melee weapon there? Like, I just can't fathom any other way for that fight to turn out like that.
No, and people have been there before where you're like, I should be winning this, except now I have no bullets, and what am I supposed to throw my gun at them? Like, how that's a tough spot to be in if that is what happened. So like you said, I would love to see the other POV as well, so we can kind of have that final piece of the puzzle to figure that out. But it does mean that Colonel Node survive, and you can see that they are getting that respawn in. They will be back up to a 3 if they can survive the respawn, and it does look like they are alone, but we get to check in on some other teams along the way, because these squads are not alone. We've got Mamma Mia here. They have already moved into the circle, so they're just trying to find a little bit of real estate for themselves while everyone's fighting for these buildings.
Yep, very much central, sitting around the buildings just north of Energy Bank here. Oh my god, it's getting a little too gassy in there. NOVO Esports have just had to evacuate immediately. There's been a leak somewhere.
Definitely a good call for NOVO to kind of dip out of there. Maybe not force that any more than they need to. Meanwhile, we've got ECLIPSE here looking for a fight up on the roof. Nice shots out of Kashera, able to get the knock here. Light goes down. Henchman is down. That was a great push out of ECLIPSE.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Kashira today, otherwise, apart from the Fern impression earlier on Storm Point. But as you can see, ECLIPSE have pulled up 19 points. Obviously, Kashira has been, you know, a massive character in ALGS in the past, but is, you know, I hope he's not past his best days, Glitter. But sometimes, you know, it's we have to wonder.
You know, you never know what the legend meta could change, the gun meta could change, he could easily bounce back. But now we get to see what is going on with Aurora. Some nice shots have come out of effect. Cleans up that first knock with the R9, sets down the fences and tries to stay alive down here. Waiting for the rest of the squad to come through and push in on this bubble. Whew.
Okay, nice one from Aurora, further hurting UAV's chances of making their way up the leaderboard here. It's been a shocker of a day for them, only 2 points, but Aurora pretty much on the other side of things with 38. Now, in this position here, as we can see on the map, Alliance are coming up from the south. Quite a few teams still have to make their way up through Energy Bank, maybe even through Galleria. You can see DSK are playing over there, and they'll have the heartbeat sensor ready on Seer to try and sense that early and grab some KP. It's a great spot to gatekeep from. Virtus Pro, who do land in Canal. That's that tiny little POI above Energy Bank that everyone is currently clustered in, are actually sitting a little bit further to the north. Interesting to find out if that's because they were hedging their bets or if, you know, they really thought that was the best spot to play from while everyone else is just, you know, busy trying to you know, share a couch, and they're basically sitting on each other's laps at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is giving VP a little bit of breathing room. You can see that they're definitely looking towards 3 men who are just off waiting in the wings. They do have Aurora near them, but not near in the sense they need to be worried about them at least. Meanwhile, we get to check with Pixel Lumina. They've actually rotated up to the northwest, trying to push in on NOVO Esports, who was able to just get a bit of a res, if I'm not mistaken. And now Pixel Lumina are trying to see if they could maybe punish them for having just come out of the zone.
It's a good spot to be in, the perfect time to try and yeah, execute that punishment here. Pixel, I feel like they've often been in these kind of fights today, you know, somewhere around the edges, trying to take some isolated fights. You can see they're looking for Adam. Surely he's gonna have to pop some sort of medi soon. He's in the zone. Okay, he was popping. I thought they would have been able to hear it, honestly. But Slab, is he gonna get spotted? Yes, they see him.
There was a fraction of a moment where I thought Slab might be able to escape if he just stayed quiet. Unfortunately, he does get spotted out. Adam is now escaping, trying to keep NOVO Esports alive. We'll check back in with him in just a little bit and see if he's able to do exactly that. Meanwhile, DSK down to a duo. G-Dolphin is knocked, trying to see if they can maybe survive here.
Just throwing out those spikes, hoping that might delay the other team while they try and find a spot here. Are they leaving G-Dolphin behind? Yes, unfortunately, they're going to have to try and go grab a crafter somewhere else as the zone closes in. Awakened are probably going to pursue them even further, I would say. But if they take too long, there's a chance that the Vicious or the Bandits do actually come in from the north of Energy Bank, and sort of the Hunters will become the hunted at that point.
Kill goes the way of Awakened as DSK escape with just a solo. Awakened now move in and are also looking for a solo on Bandits. And we can see that they are on the hunt. They have the information. They spotted the solo out, and now it's just about converting that KP.
I think he's about to get crunched between like 4 different teams. This is not going to be a fun time for the last member of the Bandits. Let's see if he can take on Alliance, Colonel Node, and Awaken simultaneously.
Oh boy. I don't know if anybody could really do that, but at least that sound has created a bit of chaos in the area. Awakened and Colonel Node now kind of moving in, while Alliance are starting a fight in a completely different area, and that will force them to run into the likes of Pixel, Lumina, and a couple other teams.
Alliance up to 36 now. And the Bandits member has actually made it out just by themselves. They get the full there onto Sweepy. Zone moves up towards Virtus Pro. Oh my god, what a day for these guys. But the southwestern side of the zone is going to be fun. So I imagine we'll be seeing a lot of vision down here. And as you can see, this is one of the great uses of Wraith Portal right now. Don't even give other teams a chance to finish your players. You just immediately pop that phase dome and they are safe.
100%. Solo is out on Bandits. Awakened. Backing off of the fight with Colonel Node, who is now down to a solo themselves. Lots of rats trying to survive here in match number 5 as Awakened start a rotation, this time running straight into the Vicious, who's also near a beacon that I believe DSK is on. So this could be a lot of KP potential. And as I see that respawn does come through for DSK.
Yep, 3 teams now just piling into this, but the high ground, I think, is going to be pretty important here. I'm sure many of you have played this kind of situation in ranked. This building is always attracting a lot of attention, and I don't think it's going to play out that much differently here. If you have control of it, it is so easy to just, you know, do some damage and then pounce as soon as it is there for the taking. DSK freshly respawned and are just going to spawn in basically as just KP symbols for Awakened.
I mean, Awakened are just on a little bit of a tear right now. I mean, they're strong. They've got all of their utility at their disposal. They're getting these knocks. Colonel Node eliminated in the kill feed in the meantime. And this is just some cleanup for Awakened. They haven't had to worry about too much. They got some knocks on the Vicious. DSK is now backing off, but NOVO Esports is starting to move in, see if this is a cleanup opportunity.
Well, I think they need to clean up the caustic barrels. They've just taken about 60 damage each from those, and they've done it at exactly the wrong time because NOVO Esports swoop. They come in from the west, and all of a sudden, it's Phoenix down. It's K-Swinny struggling. And it somehow has NOVO on the run, even though there's only 2 of them left alive. I'm not sure what made NOVO decide to disengage there, but I feel like it was the wrong choice, Glitter.
I feel like I have a lot of questions about what just happened. I mean, well-timed, I guess, disengages from DSK, who, you know, had just come back. Vicious backs off. They've got a balloon down now for themselves as well to kind of go for that rotation. But there was definitely an opportunity to knock Awakened out of the competition, and they somehow survived. Potassium, in the meantime, is now taken out in that kill feed as we're kind of watching a little bit of a potential fight happening for Alliance, as they are in the vicinity of ForFun Esports. Now Eclipse on the other side of things here on the northeastern side, looking to move in. They are near VP.
Pathfinder Watson Gibby is an interesting comp. You can see the zip lines have come out already. And 3 men actually move up on them here. Eclipse seem to be ready for it, though. They read the portal, doesn't really do much. Someone comes back. They're just trying to... I guess 3 men are probably in a bad spot on both ends of that portal. Yes, doesn't matter which way you go, it'll be the end of it for them.
That was a tough spot to be in as we go back on over to Alliance, who were in that fight with ForFun Esports. They win that fight, but now Aurora has moved in to see if there's an opportunity to capitalize. It doesn't look like there is. Alliance is pretty healthy, and Aurora immediately backs out.
Yeah, right. Alliance are fine here. They've got Gibby in this building. They should be okay. It's the teams on the outskirts like Mamma Mia, NOVO, who are fighting to try and get in past Aurora, currently using their bubble to try and weather the storm against this orbital bombardment. The Watson pylon does a lot of work as well, and as soon as it ends, you know Effect is just raring and ready to go. There goes NOVO Esports. Next, maybe we'll finally get that Aurora Alliance fight we were waiting for.
I mean, Aurora couldn't find any good place to move into, so they decided to take the fight out here. It works out in their favor. Nice KP and the clearing out of the space. This will give them a moment of breathing room to kind of recover here as we get to see what some of these other teams are doing. We've got the Vicious down here looking pretty weak, only down to MG Clutch, who's trying to rat for the squad. Do people know that he's in the vicinity is the question. Will Alliance look it down and spot him out?
I mean, they're just too busy picking up KP right now. They grab one onto Mamma Mia. I would imagine shortly they'll be taking that fight that you were talking about. We're going to listen in now with Virtus.pro have been sitting in a very safe spot for most of the game.
Я спот застроить, окей?
Аккуратнее слева, ты полупом.
Я понимаю. Я умею сумру. Меня Стип наш спот занял.
Да, вот наш спот, блядь.
Окей,
лево,
Карбабл.
Нет,
да. У нас чел здесь стоит.
Да, бабл. Запад. Я бэк смотрю. У нас челы в будке играют, пацаны. Осторожно.
Да. Мы нам хуево как будто. Нам надо лево пропекать и... Да, вот наш спейс, где бочка стоит.
Они выехали обратно.
Да. Бабл, сделаем медленно играть. Дал бричку автобус.
Автобус зона? Не умри.
Пропекай лево. Жим. Все нормально.
Бабл сколько? Есть бабл.
Залетай дроу, пропикивает. Одно. Есть, не давай бабл, все норм.
Я не даю. Все нормально. У нас еще много зоны.
Вперед, без бабла, го вперед.
Ко мне, не надо бабл.
Вы сейчас, наверное. Да. Бэк закрыть.
All right, VP are in a lot of trouble here, but it's Prestas with the absolute nerves of steel. You can hear them discussing, should we put the bubble down now? Do we need the bubble now? And he waits, and it is so important. It's the only tool they have against all of the chaos, the bedlam around them, and that is the reason Virtus.pro are alive right now.
Honestly, that whole sequence was kind of crazy because they zipped on Aurora to begin with, and now they've just been in this insane back and forth with them, and you can see that they continue to take damage. Aurora potentially looking to move up. Iarka's trying to see if maybe an off angle can work in their favor. The bubble is saving VP's life right now, and they can't go around the other side of this wall because everyone is looking in their direction. So it's about min-maxing those bubbles, but once they're gone, so is VP. They are eliminated, and Aurora now own this space.
That is tough. Eventually, as you say, there's just too much push and pull on either end of them, and they do just break eventually. Aurora will be part of that as they take them down. ECLIPSE now next in their sights. We've got a Mamma Mia rat in the middle trying to make this happen, and HM are looking down upon Make EU Great Again, who have once again made it to a top 6, probably even a top 5 very soon. Just an insanely consistent day from Nasky.
Honestly, I love seeing this out of Mega. I like them proving that their play style can work. And not only that, but put them at the top of the leaderboard. Is that where they currently sat heading into this match? But now we've got HM in the general vicinity. You can see Nasky and squad on the low ground, knowing that there are teams above them. Alliance is on the other side of this building as well. So whenever these teams start moving, this is going to be absolute chaos.
Oh my God, Akko has 9 kills this game so far.
Slay.
Yeah, that's he's been doing a lot of that lately, apparently. Incredible stuff. Aurora, we did get that fated fight, but who knows, maybe that'll be the final 3v3, as they do seem to be crushing some other teams in between them. ECLIPSE and Mega are 2 of those who could be next on the chopping block.
Yeah, they really needed to clear out ECLIPSE so that Aurora had a little bit of safety. They do exactly that. The solo on Mamma Mia is also limited. Somehow Alliance go down in all of this chaos. They are the first to drop out of that southern trio. And now it is HM and Mega and Aurora facing off in our top 3.
Okay, they're gonna... Looks like they should be able to get HM. They're just having a little bit of trouble getting past this Newcastle res, and wow, okay, they actually survived to second, but it'll be Aurora to easily clean that one up in the end, and they actually finish with 14 kills. incredibly, even though we never saw the direct confrontation between them, we were still getting the battle to see who could get the more points out of that map. And I'll tell you what, it was pretty close actually. Aurora with 14 kills, but they got the dub. Alliance actually picked up 15.
I don't even know what to. I'm genuinely. I'm replaying those final moments. I thought Mega was going to be the team in second place there. HM able to sneak in and do that. But the 15 KP out of Alliance, like you were just mentioning, even though they were in fourth place, is still huge. I mean, we're looking at these two teams constantly kind of going back and forth between the two of them. They're forcing us to draw these comparisons, Genome. And Aurora has an absolute monster of a game to get a win in match number 5. I mean, that's the repeat. You called it. That's the repeat.
Yeah, look, I swear, look, we're not trying to push this storyline. It is there. It really is there for the taking, isn't it? With 26 points, Aurora push themselves towards the top of the standings here. And you can see with so many KP going the way of our EMEA powerhouses here, there is scant pickings for the bottom 10 of our scoreboard in match number 5.
Dang, what a game. What a game with Wraith being banned out as well. That we won't be seeing her in that final match, but like you said, that opens up the floor for the rest of the big boys to be available in match number 6. And this is what it means for our overall series results as well. Aurora just barely getting above, making you great again. 1 point right now separating these two teams after the second win on the day from Aurora. And while that is very impressive from Aurora, it also still continues to point out how impressive that fact, or how impressive Mega's day has been when Aurora has 2 wins and are only 1 point above Mega.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a potential bonus point on the table now, right? If you get that 3rd win, that's an extra point at the end of the day towards your season total.
Oh, you're just pointing out all the extra little math bits and pieces. Well, we'll find out if they're able to do that or if somebody else will step up to the plate in match number 6. Before we do that, though, we're going to send it to a short break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Sony InZone, the official audio and monitor partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Red Bull gives you wings.
In every fight comes a moment where you either run from the fire or run through it. You will find me on the other side. Rise to the podium or from the ashes tomorrow. Keep full gas! I'll push, you punish.
In the end, everything dies.
Agreed.
Not today, kapatid. You've got people depending on you.
Failure is an opportunity if you use it.
I love the hunt, no matter the game.
Time to rise and shine. Thanks. Gotcha.
You are not built for this.
I'm even better face to face.
9. Your moment came. You are not ready.
Welcome back, everyone. Okay, I mean, I step away for 2 seconds, and Genome and Glitter get to cast the Ape Fest that game number 5 went down to be, and we have to compare our 2 heavy fraggers in the entire lobby, because right now, again, as Genome mentioned, we're not forcing the script, man. It writes itself. Aku had gotten 9 KP after game number 5, while Effect was right behind him with 8 KP. The difference is, Genome, Aurora got another dub under their belt.
I mean, 2,666 damage. I mean, look, he is the beast. He is the devil of this lobby right now. That guy is absolutely just running it down compared to everyone else in here. He's doing fantastically so far. Is almost there at the top, but if we look at the series overall, it's been Aurora on top of the day. Now, Mega haven't won a game yet, Vicky, but they're the ones only 1 point behind them.
What does that say about how they've been fragging out throughout the course of these series, right? Because it's incredible to say that the team that has won 2 games is only leading the pack by 1 single point versus a team that has yet to win a game but has secured so much KP. And I think a big part of that, Genome, we have to highlight Nate, who's gotten a total of 16 kills throughout the course of the last 5 games, while Effect does lead the way in the entire lobby as the kill leader after these 5 games. He's gotten 21 kills. Aku has to be a big parentheses, just because this was the most kills for Aku in a game in those 9 kills that he was able to get, and he's kind of only averaged out 4 or less kills before game 5. So Aku making that tweet, being very humble, saying he's got to step it up. Well, guess what? That's how you start things off, Genome.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying. He's definitely doing his best. 54 points Alliance with 1 map to go, Vicky. They can absolutely win this. Honestly, any of the top, I'd say 4 teams can. We've been talking a lot today about Aurora, about Make EU Great Again, about Alliance, and about Virtus Pro, and all 4 of those teams here are looking for a banger game to run it home and get that burst.
Let's get this going, guys. Our final game within EMEA before we transition onto the Americas. It's been nonstop action thus far, and with Wraith getting banned, this is what I highlighted going into game number 4, Genome. I was worried about this because now we're down to only a set amount of legends that could help with these rotations that have been very tricky on a lot of these teams on E-District, and I'm excited to see which of these legends here is going to be able to come up. Is it going to be the Pathy here? No more Wraith, obviously. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to be moving around. Maybe those Gibbies now coming out to allow more protection in a more open field on E-District, bunkering down for some of the catalysts that we also have been seeing, and a zone pulling onto the north side of E-District towards Galleria.
It's interesting to see Gibby not banned going into game 6. So we've got a lot of him, 14. But your question is answered on the screen right now, Vicky. Pathfinder, 13 of them. Because as you mentioned, how are you going to rotate? Right? You've got Gibby for micro rotations, but for the macro rotations, you need something else. And all of the meta options are gone. There is no Altar. There is no Valkyrie. There is no Wraith. We are now left with energized zip lines. That is currently, according to this lobby, the best solution.
And if you're a big boy there, even with Fortified, it can get a little scary, because then you have a situation like this. VP, very listening, by the way. Completely understood everything, but getting the Taskmaster Pathy out here, trying to see if they could maybe get either an Evil Harvester that sometimes spawns back there, get some information. It looks like they're just 87 away from Taskmaster to be able to get blue, but they're pinging that another team may be trying to chase right behind them. Having to be careful and being out in the open here could spell doom for the teams who are already rotating from the south side of Galleria. VP pinging up ahead as UAV are looking at them. ForFun, who have already gotten a beacon scan over by the server beacon in Galleria, and Potassium with a ring console for that information too.
3 men, and all of them are on height, looking down across everyone else who's trying to rotate into Electro Dam right now, where the zone is going. Of course, there will be plenty of teams on the outskirts, teams who have got a long way to go to that northeastern side of the ring, and the Vicious are one of them. Havoc in front of them. We've got Stay Healthy below at Street Market, and Evac is going to be the solution to get above and across this map. They're going to go towards, well, they're kind of circling and not sure right now. Actually, they don't get that far at all because too many teams are shooting at them and they're a little scared that they're going to drop in an exposed spot.
Oh, Hoodie took a lot of damage right there. I was going to say, like, also the Evil Harvester being right there, too, right? They don't want to pass that by, even if they already had blue. And they prio that. They have the Gibby bubble, and they are able to heal up. Something else, though, is going to be Stay Healthy, who, being on the other side of that fight, wanting to get a much better position, but also this has prevented them from being able to maybe get that Evil Harvester here. So it's on to the next one as they take the big tower out of the fight. And Vicious now, unfortunately, seeing the 3P up on the other side of the bridge, came through at a great time, but then the clutch comes in. We get the knock from both sides. You try to get the fight here with the one clip on the R9, but a Sparrow's jumping over your head.
Oh, no. Yeah, Alliance is about to be jumping on their heads as well. Vicky Chaotic has taken too long to finish this fight. And as the Sparrow just says, hey, you need some skeet shooting practice, here I am. Chaotic wins the fight with literally, I think that is literally 1 health. Is he going to get away with this? He can't. He can't keep getting away with this. There's no way he survives here. Oh my god. Pixel Lumina, instead of finishing him and the rest of the squad off, actually decide to go and fight Alliance instead.
I was gonna say Chaotic too with like the controller beams with the R9 as well, and then now they find Bubblegum as Alliance are gonna be able to clean this up for free. I mean, we'll take that here in this economy here. Alliance are looking to try to tear things up in this final game, and I love it too, but these teams have already figured out where they situate in the overall standings for today. They like to get a lot more aggressive if they know that they don't have much to lose. And now, Siaski too, bombardment galore here for everybody to feast on. Undying just trying to stay alive. Gonna be able to try to hide together in this side room as Potassium still are able to get this reset.
It's a very small space to be trying to play in here. Thankfully, there's no Maggie left to drill them on repeat. Put the power ramp on her, and you are just having a bad time. But Potassium, all they've got to deal with is some setups in this room, and thankfully they've got a Bangalore, and on blue that means you've got the upgrade for the electric smoke, and you can actually clear traps and fences out of these rooms pretty effectively.
I love how you brought that up, because I was about to say, yeah, with those nades too, like you'll be able to actually not only clear a lot of these buildings that you could expect more of these booger down compositions, but then you give the Bangalore a hemlock as well. So it's going to be a lot of pressure to deal with as Potassium are trying to brute force their way into this building. Sweepy just waiting for the pressure to force his team to maybe drop down, get some more information, but doesn't want to fully swing by themselves here. Just trying to take a different off angle, Genome. And this is an isolated fight because a lot of other teams like 3 Men, NOVO Esports, are more so concentrated over on the north side of Electro Dam.
I mean, yeah, you're just seeing the Watson having to just constantly reinforce these hard light windows, and even then doesn't seem to be able to keep them up as they just push forward with gas again and again. Once that pylon goes down, they can start just ripping gas, nades, everything into this room. A Charco goes down. I don't know how much longer UAV can survive here.
He's gassing them out. Oh no, but he doesn't hear the Gibby behind him Undying. Gonna be able to get that knock. Sweepy gets the shield swap, and just like that, UAV get eliminated. What a very clean fight here for Potassium. That was clutch, and now they're gonna be able to get the res on top of it all. ASCII did their job, and it was to gas them out and also get a knock on top of it all, while NOVO Slab trying to stay alive, because while Potassium was fighting UAV, remember we highlighted 3 Men and NOVO Esports over on the Electro Dam side, and now NOVO have to play this out as a solo, and unfortunate for them, there really is no replicator back towards Lotus. He's gonna have to play in the zone for a while, and other teams that are taking their time on their rotate because the zone's pulling so far away from their POI are Alliance, Pixel, who are closest to the replicator that we're probably gonna see that solo from NOVO go towards.
Yeah, I mean, Novo's got to run a marathon before they'll get to that replicator. And as you said, they might be a little tired by the time they come across these other teams. Aurora, they were playing from heights. They grabbed the 3rd beacon scan here, and they have tried to make their way into a good spot in zone. As you can see, it has not been as successful as they would have liked. In first spot right now with 60 points, they do hold the lead, but it's by a whisker. Vicky, Mega are 1 point behind them, and they can't afford to be ratting out this game even as a duo if they want to win.
Yeah, especially if you look at where Mega is currently situated in the middle of the zone. And now Aurora, who are only leading the pack by that one single point, are down to a duo. This is a very tough spot to be in. We're gonna have to see if Effect could creep up, pick up that banner, and if they do pull this off, there is that respawn that they could utilize right behind them, but it's not gonna be easy. I mean, look where Effect is sitting right now, hiding away for fun to just look at, even trying to pressure him out, noting where they could try to maybe get a hit marker there as he's playing on the other side of that staircase.
Oh my god! Like, is Effect the Loba player in my ranked game? Because he's playing the double rat strat at the moment, and I just can't. Oh god, I'm getting triggered. All right, let's get back to the game. Colonel Node. They're also down to 2 players here. You can see they're much further away from the ring, though. Pixel Lumina on their side. I mean, the ring is closing. They probably need to go back and try and res now.
The fact that Pixel was also able to get that reset after what we saw happen to Bubblegum 2 comes in clutch. Novo do end up respawning both of their players in the POI that we were talking about, where there was a replicator behind, I believe it's like City Hall. So that comes in clutch because a lot of these other teams wanted to prio the rotate, and the only teams waiting for them on the edge of zone would be the likes of like VP, Pixel, and they probably had already scanned the survey beacon. So hopefully Novo do get a free rotate, but they probably also heard that respawn go out outside of the zone. Now, make EU great again. We were talking about where they're situated in the zone. Look at the zone pool right now, sitting directly in the middle. They have the double big boys here, the catalyst for the wall, and to help with the resets on top of having a dome and the slam down from the Newcastle for extra cover.
This is interesting. I'm just going to go back and look at the last game. They were playing Wraith, Gibraltar, Watson in match 5. Wraith, Newcastle, Watson. Okay, all right. I was wondering if maybe they'd switched over to, you know, something more akin to a baby comp, if they, just because they were so close to winning the day and they were like, hey, let's just play zone for a, you know, for a game. But it looks like they might have switched to that just when E-District came on the table. So look, you know, grats to them for being adaptable. We know that every top IGL honestly needs to be able to play multiple styles to be successful. And obviously in the days of legend bans now, Vicky, you have to be more adaptable than ever.
And it's hard to do that too when you want to be consistent in a BR where there's so many different factors like ring pools, if you have a survey beacon, ring console, etc. that works into your legend compositions. VP now, Taskmaster, about a bullet or 2 away from getting that purple Evo. But with the Hemlock, should be no issue. The only issue is that they got to rotate into that next zone. I hear the longbow shots. They see Novo taking to the skies after getting that respawn. They're now having left to no choice but to try to fly over the heads of Alliance and VP. And so it's like also the evac tower may have gotten destroyed. So one player of Novo is forced to walk in right where Alliance is looking at them. So it may be the walk of shame unless Alliance could look forward. And they actually do finish off that player, it looked like from the back end. So Novo in a difficult situation just for them to get eliminated. They try to stay alive for as long as possible, but then you see Bubblegum popping off in the feed. Node get eliminated. And remember, we were just highlighting how this team also had to get a reset themselves. Nice to see Bubblegum popping off. I've seen him in my own rank lobby, actually, whenever I play with my friends from London, and seeing Bubblegum here in Pro League shine through is on another level here. He's got the gold R9, so it's been a nice reset here for them, and they'll be able to rotate into Galleria, where, by the way, there is no team currently in Galleria now that Stay Healthy has taken an evac tower out of there.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a big part of the zone right now, and yet no one is there aside from now Pixel Lumina. Now we've got the Vicious coming from the southeast side of the zone, but they're flying in past HM. They've taken so much health damage already. Oh my god, as soon as this bubble is over, they're gonna have to gas up the inside of it. I don't think even that is gonna stop them going down here.
Ooh, no. He came in, originally looked like he had an R9. He has the Mosems. He takes him down, and they take out Vicious. Hard rotate here for them. While Alliance, continue to clean up shop, and they continue to hold this south side, or rather this north side of the zone here, looking on to Potassium, who won that fight previously that we saw versus UAV, and holding a split angle, looking at Pixel and VP. And while we take a look at where Makey is currently situated, looking at HM, they have to move up into the next zone. Let's jump into a listen-in with Make EU Great Again.
We played this.
Yeah, whatever. We just play something on left.
Careful behind. We have full focus behind, guys.
Yeah, we have to. You need to reinforce windows inside. Otherwise, we're gonna get shot in back.
How many back hits do you guys have? I have 5.
They're shooting our fucking windows.
Okay.
Down.
What?
One's pistol blue.
We got sit for me, sit for me.
Are they working here?
Don't see them.
I know.
You might need it. I don't think you burned Newcastle Walker, by the way.
Okay.
You see them?
No, I don't see them.
Fuck off.
I see them at the building.
Yeah. They broke our wall.
How many hemlocks, man?
They have 3 hemlocks. They have 3 hemlocks.
Underneath, they're underneath, down the bridge.
Okay. Yeah. That's good, actually.
Yeah,
They're not fighting.
Yeah. There's a bubble on the bridge here. Can we move up?
Work up and place more wall.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we play. Actually, check what's best, Connor. We don't want people breaking the wall. Okay.
I only have one bat and 4 cells. I need more.
Down here, big damage. Here, I've dropped a bat. What do you have? I'm 3. But I have 13 heavy though.
And while this action was going on, Alliance and VP have taken their exit and no more points can be put on the board. So it leaves it down to Make EU Great Again with those comms that we just heard, and Aurora, who is now leading by 2 extra points. Meanwhile, just talking about the reset, see Bubblegum and company already moving up with the rest of Pixel, and now Make EU Great Again are forced to pop in this bubble early. Full Purple's waiting on the other side. Thanks to Nate, though, he's got the cat wall just ready to give him some extra cover.
Yeah, look, shout out to the devs for introducing that horizontal cat wall. It wouldn't have been as easy to block off the other team without the introduction of that. It's made Catalyst, honestly, a fair bit better. And yeah, look, sad to hear VP's had a slow end to the day there, but shout out to the observers. You know, we caught them trying to make that early rotation, and once that got cut off, I think it really scuppered their plans for this zone.
Oh, look at Aurora here, too. With Oiren going down, they won't have that bubble to really help them go in for some more of these resets. Breaks that gen, sends out the Arc Stars, forces out another bubble, but I do believe we also saw from the other side, at least from Make EU Great Again, that they have a power amp for their Gibby. We saw the double bubble coming down. Bubblegum does get that knock onto Sweepy in the feed, and Aurora just hugging against this wall in the middle of all the action.
I can't believe Aurora's still alive. So they've been a duo for this whole time. And apparently, like, I mean, Effect just has, like, we were talking about aura before, right? Like, Effect has so much aura that teams just assume they're probably a trio. They're just like, well, we're taking this much damage, surely. Surely there's a full team up there shooting at us.
And Pixel is waking up right now. Defensive bombardment harasses Aski. Potassium in a really bad spot, but now Pixel have to move up, and they're still getting harassed by Make EU Great Again, who look like chameleons because they're not only just looking at Pixel, they're also looking at HM to their right. ECLIPSE also putting in some pressure onto Pixel, but we know what's happening with Effect and Aurora, who are making sure that their backs are cleared. They don't know that there is a solo right behind them here, and they see one player. This is going to be free pickings for Effect. Potassium get eliminated. 10 squads now left.
I mean, these points are so crucial for Aurora. Who knows what's going to happen to Naski and his team in the rest of this game, but they are 4 points now, 3 points ahead currently, and every point they pick up makes it a little bit harder for Mega to get on top.
And now, looking at how the zone pool is and where the majority of these teams are, Making You Great Again, they try to take this fight versus Pixel, but they have momentum. Bubblegum gets one clipped. Nate finds that pick, but on the other side is going to be 3 tricks. He slides in, and Making You Great Again get eliminated here. Aurora now move up. They take their opportunity, and they take their lead in the first place spot.
That's it. Aurora have wrapped it up. They are more than 20 points ahead of anyone else left in this lobby. It is impossible for anyone else to overtake them now. Even as they go down, they'll go down with a smile on their faces.
They had to have known that that was making you great again. That was so smart. They get the push. They try to actually 3P that, but the reset is coming in. Pixel waking up in the very last game. Bombardment for bombardment. They're hanging on for dear life behind these knockdown shields. Nags, though, being on the Newcastle, could come out for a clutch res, but it's going to be difficult when you have another team looking at you. But thankfully, they're fighting, so they can try to go in for a reset here. They're really trying to stay alive, but he gets beaten by the alternator. 3 men now get eliminated. 5 squads left as Nags goes for another res.
Oh my god, they're just trying to get this out, but there's a bombardment on top of them. Can he get his one last res here as the catalyst goes down? We've got an infinite ammo Kraber, literally the scariest thing in the game right now. If Pixel Lumina didn't have enough kills already this game, you can see 8 assists on Tricks there. They are going for even more. Everyone is going to be ducking for cover.
Nags is like, I'm trying to dance. I'm trying to have fun here and swing, but everyone's looking at me. 3 Tricks. Pathfinder, by the way, with the Kraber in his hands. What year is he? Tries to get another crazy shot out here as he's holding onto high ground. But as Pixel Lumina are holding onto a great spot, the path less contested. It's Mamma Mia, Stay Healthy, and Pixel. And this is for Pixel as he gets the knock with the Kraber.
Oh my, swing on him, come on, grapple on him and just hit him with the Kraber. At this point, Pixel Lumina have 17 kills. Can they make it 20, Vicky?
Oh! No way, there's no way you actually beat that, but the dome goes down. You have no other choice but to hide behind a knockdown shield. And right now, this is all for Pixel Lumina to feast on. There's still 3 spots left. Girl, you have to be careful, stay healthy. They're playing right underneath their box. And Bubblegum, he dropped down, gets overzealous, and gets picked off. This would have been a great spot for Pixel to just play patiently and buy with the ring closing in behind their backs, but they have to swing over to the left side. Newcastles are still alive. Stay healthy. Get eliminated. 3 Tricks now. The Pathy, can he clutch it out? The EMP Dome, he takes the damage. The Newcastle wall is the finishing blow. Mamma Mia, make the impossible happen, and they win the game for our final game within EMEA.
Oh no, he's just grappled to his death. Okay, I'm sorry for suggesting that he should grapple on them, but that may have been a premature call. Mamma Mia take the win here. They picked up 6 kills as well. Of course, the majority of those were just getting soaked up by Pixel Lumina. We saw Tricks hitting headshot after headshot on the Kraber and then saying, well, I've done enough.
Genome, Pixel, like, fragged out like it was within their own rank game because even if they got second place, they got 19 KP. I think before that game, they were like not even in the top 10, and that skyrocketed them in the overall standings for today. I mean, talk about clutch factor for the final game. And Mamma Mia, though, being your winners, we've been seeing them have some trouble here. They were able to actually wake up, clear that backside of the northern part of that zone, and they take the win when they were in a they were in a spot where they shouldn't have. I mean, having to play from the low ground like that, thankfully, they had that Newcastle barrier that was right in front of their face while looking down at another team who put down a Gibby bubble. So much chaos in a final zone like that.
Chaos. Yes, I'm sure that's what the Pathfinder will be blaming it on, right, Galena?
Always. 100%. I mean, what are you supposed to do in that situation? What a way to close out the day, though. Let's take a look at what that means for the end of the day, our series results, because that was a big game from Pixel Lumina. I'm trying to see how many spots it leapfrogged them. 8 places up the leaderboard, all the way up into 5th place. Only 1 point behind VP at the end of the day, Vicky. I mean, this was back and forth all day long.
I mean, imagine if Make EU Great Again like won their first game of Pro League, because I don't believe they've won. This is all just raw stats from them getting KP and then being within the top 5 if they can find themselves in that really good spot. But unfortunately for them, they were on the bridge trying to bank on the zone pooling a little bit more closer to them, and they couldn't get any more KP to overtake Aurora, who also outplaced them for that final game. Even Alliance, like trailing right behind, it was a very heavy KP game for a lot of these teams to try to secure what they needed to overtake the other.
You know, I feel like, Gino, we should have just talked about Mega at the top of show as well, and then our top 4 would have been the squads that we were mentioning, because not only did our heavy hitters step up to the plate, but Mega just get more and more consistent.
Pretty insane, that performance, isn't it? And it's, yeah, again, like, it's not just like it was an unlimited day or something like that where it's just like crazy amounts of KP. It's actually pretty balanced. And I went back and looked at the start of today where their ratio was at of kill points to placement points, and yet they had one of the highest kill point ratios out of anybody in EMEA. So they've actually pushed that back towards being sort of, you know, what you would call a quote-unquote more legitimate play style today, by picking some more sensible heroes and just playing more sensibly, and it's really worked out for them.
And we can see what that means for the overall Pro League standings now that all of our teams have played 4 series. Vicky 3 points above VP, finally knocking them out of that top spot, but it is still so close.
It's actually crazy. What does it account for? Like, not only the dubs, but also like what, 3 extra KP that they've been able to secure throughout the course of the entirety of Pro League. That is insane, but it's that race between VP and Aurora right here.
I mean, I love what we're saying. I love that we also see ForFun Esports up here in 3rd place, right above Alliance. Genome, I think that's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, like, we didn't get to see like a huge amount of them today. I think they sort of flew under the radar a little bit. But, you know, look, they picked up a 6th place, and obviously they've just been so consistent throughout the entirety of Pro League so far that they, are now sitting in a top position. With Alliance, frankly, a little bit off the pace. Obviously, you know, I don't think we're not going to see them at LAN or something crazy like that. But the discussion of whether they are a better team right now than Aurora is not going in their favor.
There's a lot to be paying attention to in this region, especially when we consider that there's now only one more round robin left, but we get to take a little bit of a closer look at our individuals from today. And I was wondering where these numbers were going to shake out. I mean, you were talking about Bubblegum in that last match, Vicky. I heard you talking to Genome about him, but Effect at the tippy top of our Sony in-zone kill leaderboard. 21 kills go the way of Effect, and are we surprised?
I'm not surprised. I mean, he came in with a perfect third party in one of my ranked games, and he absolutely annihilated us, all right? And that was what I was grinding out over to Masters that season, but it was well-deserved because he not only popped off with 11 KP that one game alone, like, just consider that. He got 11 KP in one game, and he sits right behind Effect with a total of 18, but it's Effect that is leading the way. When we were just discussing Effect, Nate, and Aku, and with 21 kills over the course of 6 games, I mean, talk about being locked in.
Not only that, but you get all 3 of Alliance up here, Genome, just, you know, constantly asserting their dominance in different ways. Even if they're not winning on the day, they're making sure all 3 of their players are up here on our kill leaderboard. I mean, but there's so many good things about what we're looking at. We've got VP up there. I mean, there's multiple players from Pixel Lumina. I mean, Genome, this was a really good showcase of EMEA talent.
It was. There's plenty of people who we expected to be up there, but also, you know, some hope for the future, right? A couple of names that we're going to have to keep our eyes on moving forward as well. You know, obviously, Vicky's clearly got some history with Bubblegum going back a while here, but I think she's not going to be the only one talking about him coming soon.
It's not just going to be Vicky's 1v1s with Graceful we have to worry about. Now we're going to have to get Bubblegum on the show, and Vicky's going to have to 1v1 Bubblegum too.
All right, hold on, guys. Let's all relax right now, okay? We can't put that in 4K. You know, we gotta always have those bragging rights, but I also really like us highlighting a lot of these highlight clips of, like, Effect fragging out still, obviously on the roller, but not only did he get the 21 KP, dude, that's 8.1k damage in 6 games, and that's without him getting any KP, by the way, for the final game and for the 3rd game.
Well, can we also just talk about, like, the amount of variety he's got there in his legend picks here, right? Like, he's playing Maggie, the frontline fragger. He's playing Watson and Caustic, the backline controller characters. And then he's playing Alter, the movement character, someone you need to, you know, help move your team around the map on. This is, like, an incredible amount of versatility from him, and that is exactly what you need from a player in today's ALGS with legend bans, right? Like, it just makes you so valuable. And previous to this split and this team that Effect is on right now, we didn't know he was necessarily capable of that. And it looks like it doesn't matter. Just put him anywhere on a map as long as it's in Apex Legends, and he will do his thing.
And I like that you point that out too, Genome, because his 2 highest kill matches on the day were when he was on Caustic for 9 kills and Watson for 8 kills. So even at the back line, even in more of a supportive role, he's still fragging out and getting the KP on the board, ending up as the kill leader in the lobby for the day. And it just doesn't matter what legend he's on. He's bringing it to the table every single time, as we get to take an overall look now at what our top legend comps were looking like. And honestly, I'm not really surprised by what we're seeing up here, Vicky.
Yeah, I'm not either. And you're talking about effect and being able to bunker down. Listen, he got like 9 KP on Caustic. I'm not even surprised. Down with Caustic here. But you know what? The compositions that we keep seeing also highlight the counter picks that we've been having, right? Something that Genome had brought up a few days ago that I really like to highlight is the way that a lot of these teams have been trying to influence the legend bands to allow themselves to play at their better hand and what they're comfortable with, right? If you like playing Caustic, you obviously don't want to run Caustic into crypto lobbies if you could avoid it, because the crypto EMP would just destroy all your hard work. Same thing could be said about the Gibby Dome, or you don't want to run Gibby until the Mad Maggie is banned. And even looking at the results and seeing how these teams were able to frag out, again, we were talking about that game number 2. That was the game that we saw him get those 9 KP with Caustic, and they got a total of 12 KP on top of the 5.2k damage.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see not only what the legend comps are doing for the play style overall as a lobby, but which players are adapting to which legends, or like you pointed out, multiple legends in Effect's case that are not only obviously different, but different in roles, different in play styles. Like there's so many different things you have to master when you're bouncing around that much. And now that we have finished today in EMEA, now the discussion opens up, like we heard Wyatt and Don talking about as well. When we come back from our break, are we going to have things be shaken up? Will we see different rosters? Are we going to have anything change? We heard a couple predictions out of Don. And I do like the points that he was making along those lines. But chat, don't be surprised if when we come back from our break, there are a couple different rosters. I keep your eyes on social media, because I'm sure people are starting to talk about it already. But there is the potential for some things to be different, Vicky. But I think the things we can be certain of, at least, is that the teams at the top, they're not going to be changing anytime soon.
No, I hope not, right? We say that, and then sometimes
we hope. We hope. You're right. Sorry.
I have PTSD, guys. Don't blame me, because even if the teams at the top sometimes have even gone through changes, and then we see them just completely collapse in the later half of the series. So hopefully it does not happen here for teams that are still trying to find this cohesion here. Aurora, once again, leading the pack with those 3 extra points within the Pro League standings. But again, this is going to be the look that you see for the teams right now, who, if you look at the back end half of these teams, may be going through some changes.
I mean, I hope Zach Mazer's not listening right now. Glitter is all I can say after that comment, because someone was at the top of the table and had a complete roster change forced upon them. I mean, you'd hope we're not in that universe, but we kind of are.
No. I refuse to accept it. I keep looking down our standings as well, and there's a couple squads I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on. I mean, we didn't get to see them today, but Citadel was one of those teams we were concerned about last week, popped off last week, and now put themselves up here in 12th place after just one really strong match day. And they're going to be fighting to kind of get within those top spots that they're fighting for. Mega now in 9th with only 1 point behind HM. They are so comfy heading into the final round robin, especially if they continue this level of play. There's a lot to be paying attention to when it comes to this region. And now that the second round robin is done, guys, I want to get your final thoughts on what we're seeing out of this region, how you're feeling after today. Vicky, I want to start with you.
I love what I'm seeing at the beginning with how aggressive these teams have gotten. I really like how a lot of these teams are also relying on where they feel more comfortable, even if it's trying to go against the grain of the usual legend comps that you've been seeing across multiple regions. And I can't wait to see what roster mania we have on our hands, Glitter.
100%. And as everybody's seeing up here on the screen, if you guys haven't done so already and you want to learn how you could possibly play up here in ALGS, register for our Challenger Circuit. Now, the registration is still open all the way until May 20th for CC number 3, which will happen May 23rd through the 25th. And who knows, you could be one of the next squads that we see up here in our Pro League. So definitely something to pay attention to. And it's fine, because if you don't make it into that one, you can also register for CC number 4 in June. There's still a little bit of time to get yourself in there. All you have to do is head on over to battlefy.com/ALGS, sign yourself up, sign your team up, and jump into the game and play. So we're just going to be hanging out here for a little bit to see exactly what we're going to be getting on through the rest of the day. And Genome, obviously, so excited to have you back now that you've gotten to dive into EMEA. Tell me how you feel after the day, because a lot happened today.
I feel great. I mean, the fact that we got to see so much of that sort of like Aurora, the Alliance. The only thing we didn't get was like the actual 3v3. They were threatening it.
You
like,
were begging for that, yeah.
Constantly. It's like, you do wonder sometimes if they've, played together and like, do they just want to make the same decisions and go to the same places? I don't know. It sounds like we might be able to find out kind of soon, Glitter.
We are definitely going to be finding out soon. Now, we were going to say goodbye, but I'm being told that we actually have an interview ready to go. Nice little quick interview. Aurora Hiarka standing by. Oh, yes, let's go.
Hello, guys.
Welcome to the show. It's nice to be able to chat with you again. Congrats on the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, guys.
All right, now talk to me a little bit about it, because obviously all season long, it's not going to stop. There's the conversation of you guys and Alliance as the top dogs in the region, and you guys absolutely smashed it today. We were talking about, what you bring to the table, not only as an IGL, but also as a trio here for this region. How have you felt like everything's meshed together now that we are match day 6, more than halfway through the split? How are you guys feeling as a squad?
We are feeling pretty good. We are getting adjusting some things together as a team. The boys are learning how to play zone, so it's pretty good. Me overall, I'm just getting used to have a guy who just kills everyone, effect, and it's very new to me.
I was gonna say, that's, first off, it's perfect that you're talking to us like this, like through your own personal phone. It matches the vibe perfectly, because I feel like any time you shot at somebody, it was like effect always followed up. Yeah, like 16 assists like throughout the course of today. Actually insane. I mean, can you talk to us a little bit about the decision making that goes into an end zone like that last game where you're down your Gibby, you're trying to stay alive? How calm are the comms sounding? How do you guys really approach a difficult situation like that when you're at a disadvantage?
When we are in the end games like these, we just try to stick together, because we were duo. As soon as we got cut off on our rotation, we were just like, okay, we're just gonna play this game duo. If a crafter lands on us, we manage to reset. If not, it is what it is. So we just stayed together. The zone pulled back to us. We knew the zone was there. We were trying to reach as a trio, and then we just played together because we had Watson. We just put the gen down and keep moving around as we were doing. We're just moving around the spot and trying to shoot left and right and count the kill feed who's dying, like the teams who we need to die, like the teams behind us that could catch up to us. As soon as we saw Make Europe Great Again died and VP died and Alliance died, we knew we won the day, so we just tried to 3P to get the God spot.
Yeah. Makes complete sense. Good work tracking the teams as well. I'm sure you're very used to that with all of the match point finals you've played. Look, you were talking about, turning these like super fraggers who have played a lot of edge into zone players, which obviously has been your specialty throughout your career. Can you sort of talk us through a bit of that process? Because it feels like there are some players who come up as big fraggers and then they try and play different legends or make a transition and they can't quite get there. And Effect seems to have picked it up so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we're not speaking about any player, right? We're speaking about the guy who's MVP in LAN, and I don't think it would be hard for him. He knows how to do the hardest one, which is play edge. Play zone, he just needs to follow the calls. I will put him on God spot, and he will just shoot and kill everyone. It's what's been happening. And OJ is like our cover, our bubble in person. He's always watching our spot, making sure we don't die from the back. So it's a perfect combination.
Well, the perfect combination got you guys not only the win today, but now you've jumped up to the very top of the leaderboards, and you are officially only the second team in the entire region that has been able to get multiple wins in a match day. So it's been a tough region for a lot of these squads, to say the least, and now you guys have just solidified yourself at the top. is this just the beginning? You know, like, are you looking for that split one playoffs win? Is that what we're seeing this path heading towards? Oh, did we lose him?
Dang.
Oh, no. Might have lost him. You know what? I am envisioning that he just gave the best answer. That was just a definitive, absolutely nobody can touch us. Yes, we are claiming the champion, the title, the win at Split One playoffs. But it's always nice to be able to chat with Hiarka. And congratulations, obviously, to Aurora on a phenomenal day. I anticipate that they will continue to do amazingly well. Now, that's pretty much everything, though, that we've got here for EMEA. If you guys are just joining us and you missed what happened today, or if you just want to keep up to date with everything that we've got going on throughout the rest of the split or the rest of the year, just follow us on social media, whether that is X, YouTube, Insta, and TikTok at Play Apex Esports or at Play Apex on Twitch. As long as you're following along on there, you won't miss a single second of any of the action that we have going on here today, because between multiple regions breaking multiple records, there's so much going on. You need to stick around. And while EMEA is done, we still have one more region to go. America's Match Day 6 is right around the corner, starting at 11 p.m. BST, 6 p.m. ET, 3 p.m. PT. So just make sure that you tune back in here so that you can see how the last region does, because you can't forget, it's the last series of matches before our mid-season breaks. You have to get your ALGS fix while you can. Until then, stretch your legs, hop into some games of Apex to pass the time, and we'll see you all right back here in just a couple of hours, Legends.